We live in a new age, and it's time for us to upgrade our tinfoil hats. Operation Tinfoil is a freedom-focused small business and trusted sponsor of this show. Their super comfortable new line of beanies and baseball caps will not only crown your skull in style, but each of these dome defenders is lined with a silver mesh that blocks up to 99% of EMF radiation from cell phone towers, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and yes, even 5G. We don't know what EMF radiation does to the brain long term, but neither do they, so don't be their guinea pig and don't wait around to find out. Get your stylish tinfoil hat of the future today at gettinfoil.com. Use the promo code SYSTEM for $10 off your order. Again, that's gettinfoil.com. Use the promo code SYSTEM for $10 off your order. Well, howdy, y'all. Welcome back to the least comfortable show on the internet. It's the Systems Down with me, Daniel Smuts. And I'm joined, of course, by the one, the only, the late, great Mr. David Casey. David, how are you, sir?
What's happening, man? I like that. The system's down.
The system's down. Yeah.
The system's down, y'all.
I mean, it's your tiring saying so many words all the time, you know? I'm taking breaks all around. I'm getting real lazy these days. But, David, I noticed that old fence out back is getting a little rickety these days, and I think it's time for a little, some people call it gatekeeping. What do you think?
Oh, man, I'm the best gatekeeper.
Oh, yeah?
Let's do that. Yeah.
Got anything
that's what I've been told anyway.
Yeah. Well, before we get to that, I got to thank a couple people, one or two folks, and I got to remember where my buttons are. I want to thank people like Ben Weir, Mr. Emo Ben, Melanie Roberts, Kimberly Owen, Brian Grumpy Gnome, Justin Savoy, Denise Cox, Perry Nord, Ozmataz, Buckshank, Autumn, Patrick, Gid Kid, Break the Bell, Mike Stonehouse, Heffalum Swoozles, Vanzot Media, Carolina B, Javari, Derek Evans, Howie Snowden, Dan something, I don't know, a bunch of people. If you want to get your name on that list and probably have it read incorrectly sometimes, go on over to patreon.com/The System Is Down. We'll get more weird, more raw, more offensive, more content, sometimes weekly. It's been a little slow lately. It's a busy summer. Bear with me, but quality over quantity is what we're going for these days. And if you want to get after parties and all sorts of fun things when we do, I'm going over to patreon.com/The System Is Down. Sign up for the Downers Club today and become a part of our cult over there. But David, sir, now getting back to it, anything new in your neck of the woods?
No, man. You know what? To be honest with you, when you were like, "Hey, after PorkFest, I'm going to take a little bit of a breather," and my side Dan, my co-host on my show, was like, "Dude, I got my kids visiting for about 6 weeks. I'm going to take a breather." I took that as a sign, and I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go out and touch some grass. And I've been a little black-pilled anyway lately, so it was like a good time for me to just unplug from all this crap and just kind of chill and do normal.
We're going to plug you right back in and get you right back into that good old black pill there, David.
I'm ready for it.
All right. Now, I don't know if you smell that, but I think I smell something. I think it's good old-fashioned grill-em-ups, like the good old days. You smell that? Nice barbecue. You smelling it?
Delicious.
Yeah. We've got Josh here, and we're gonna do that. Let's get weird.
Hello.
Right. We have the one and only Mr. Joshua Smith, former vice chair of the Libertarian National Party. How are you today, Joshua?
What?
I'm doing fine. I like to say ex vice chair.
Is that the rebranding, the Elon Musk version?
I don't think I made it long enough for former. I think ex is better.
Josh, I've heard some things are going on. Anything new in your neck of the woods? I noticed you dropped me some money this morning. I don't know if you're trying to sweeten the pot or something. Make sure I go easy on you.
I did.
But
I did. I sent you some money this morning. I figured maybe I could get out the easy way and little, presidential candidate bribe.
I know how politics works.
Yeah, we know how this shit works. It's dirty. It's an ugly game. It's war by other means. That's right. I'm having a baby in December. I know that's probably shocking for everybody. That's new.
Isn't that like every December? Is it just like an annual thing?
It seems to be August and then December. They fluctuate. It just depends. So we got a new baby coming. Of course, I'm running for president.
Way to
I don't
go,
know if
man.
you guys heard.
Oh, neat.
So that's gonna be
Tell us
pretty
more
crazy.
about the baby.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's gonna whether it's a girl or a boy, it's gonna be named Nico. So we'll have 3 that are 3 and under, and they'll be Rocco. They'll be Mateo, Rocco, and Nico. So that'll be pretty neat.
Are your
pretty
babies
sure it's gonna
named
be a
after
boy, though.
anything?
Yes. The first names come from my very Italian, 5'0" wife's family tree, and their middle names are from my family. So Mateo Floyd was my grandfather.
Yeah.
Wonderful, beautiful, amazing man. And then Rocco Steven is my mom's brother, my uncle. And so if it's a girl, it's going to be Nico Evelyn, which is my grandmother's middle name. But we're not sure about if it's a boy yet. We're still debating middle names there.
Gotcha. Now we're gonna probably jump around a bit in this, but some of the concerns that some people had with you running for vice chair was that you got a lot of kids and a lot of responsibilities and not a lot of free time on your hands. And as you are announcing your presidency, you are also announcing another massive responsibility.
New baby. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. It was never, and I'm sure we'll get into this. I'm sure we're gonna get into this more. And I had a good phone call before the show. Talking about this, and I've probably had 100 phone calls explaining why I resigned in private, because I didn't want to wreck any of the work that other people were doing, and so but it was never about me being too busy with my kids. One of the factors was the fact that I put in so much time for so long that when I got there, it wasn't what I had expected, and so I would rather spend time with my family than deal with the same old stuff that I was dealing with before. But no, that was never the problem. That was never going to be an issue for me. And I had done a term as at large with my kids prior to that, and and I had finished 2 terms on the board prior to that, so it was never about that. It was definitely other reasons. I'm sure we'll get into some of them.
Yes, we will. Now, what is different, like as far as time wise? I know that you do still work a full-time job, and you have 1 million kids, and you're running for president. Do you think time is a concern right now?
No, and I think that I've done this in the past. I've worked full-time and campaigned for national chairman, and visited 48 states or something like that in that time. And my job now is even easier because I have 14.
I've been a bad father in the past, and I'll do it again. It's fine.
I have the home stuff is the benefit is me having a wonderful wife who is able to run our household very well when I'm not home. But I work 14 of every 28 days, and I'm taking my real estate license test on the 8th. So we're gonna be good financially. We're gonna be just fine. And I have plenty of time to do campaign stuff. So. When we started this presidential campaign, it was kind of I'm a pretty trolly guy. I'm sure a lot of people understand how I like to troll, and I'm definitely brash in your face. And it started out as that, but I had been thinking about doing this for a while. I have some concerns with the national party currently. I have some concerns for our presidential nomination, whoever it should be. I have some concerns for their ballot access. I have some concerns with support from the party. And so I had always said that, if somebody like a Dave Smith or a Spike Cohen didn't step up and do it, that I would think about doing it, and so I kind of got to a point where it seemed like Dave isn't going to do it. Mm-hmm. I've talked to Spike offline, and he says he hasn't ruled it out. But I have to believe that some people besides me saw the writing on the wall and knew that this campaign was going to be very, 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 very hard for whoever the nominee is.
Absolutely.
And they would be doing it without much support from the party. Not a lot of people in the race right now. Yeah. And I was looking at the current field of candidates, and I'm like, oh man, we got 1 year till the convention.
Yeah.
And if we don't put someone out there that's going to message right now, it's going to be a lost cause. So, I mean, it's less than a year. We got 11 months. So
yes. Yeah. Now, Grumpy Gnome submits a fake super chat, which reminds me, drop your fake super chat. Somebody else was asking about super chats. I'm not allowed to take them because YouTube hates me and hates you and hates everybody except Josh. He's still monetized and all that, but because he's super edgy. Grumpy Gnome says, fake super chat. Give her a break, Josh. He's talking about your poor wife there. Leave her alone, Josh. Is she wanting to have all these kids, or are you forcing them upon her?
No, she's definitely the one that wants him, not me. I mean, I want him. I want my kids. You know, I want to be with my children, but she's the one that
I'll
wanted
take them
when we
I'm
met.
just-
Yeah,
Fine.
she said when we met, she wanted 10 kids, she wanted to homeschool, and she wanted to have like a farm organic life, and so that's what I've been working on giving her, man.
Right on. Now, I do have some clips that we will be going through over the course of this this process and this whatever this is, this grilling. The first one actually comes from your show, where you had a young buck named David Casey on your show, and you asked him a question that I think is pertinent today.
Right. All of the, like, yeah, that, yes.
Wait, we'll go
But
forward
it's
to
when-
after
yeah,
Dave's stuttering.
Yes.
Yep. Who do you think's the next Ron Paul, man?
Oh, man. That's
Dave's answer doesn't matter as much as the end.
electric.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Not only do you have to be morally
took a while with
consistent
this one.
and fierce and, you know, unwavering, but yeah. Yeah, that's a lot to ask of anybody.
So you guys threw out some options of like Thomas Massey and Rand Paul and stuff like that at that time.
Eric Brakey.
Eric Brakey was yours, yeah. So I have to ask you the question: who do you think is the next Ron Paul, and why do you think it's you? Do you think it's you?
Oh boy, I don't know. That's all.
And
that
if
is a
not,
heavy
why
burden.
are you doing this?
I'll say that it's a heavy burden. I'll say that my policies are very closely aligned with the Ron Paul revolution. There's no doubt about that. And as we continue to write new platform planks, it's always going to be in the vein of the Ron Paul revolution, because that's where I came from, you know, and that's where I started, and that's why I'm doing what I do, and that's why I've done what I've done. And so it's always going to be in that vein. And my campaign staff is always going to know that that's going to be the vein we're working in. I'm definitely more brash than Ron Paul was. There's no doubt about it. Ron Paul was a very nice guy. You can sit down and have dinner with Ron Paul and know he's going to be very nice to you no matter what. I'm not always very nice. So that's where we really differ hugely. But I think policy wise, you know, we're going to run a campaign that Ron Paul could be proud of. I believe that. So, but I don't know that I'm the next Ron Paul. No. And I don't think I could make that delineation. And I don't think that it's something that I would ever say about myself to begin with. So
That's good. I prefer it that way. Anybody who says that they are the next Ron Paul is probably got their head too far up their ass to accomplish anything. Anyway, so it's all good. Dave, do you got any thoughts before we continue?
No.
Okay. So yeah, we've got. Let's see here. Well, just as far as like the pleasantries and the normal political presidential things, I'll tell you the same thing that we told Mike Tremont when he came on for this. And I like you more than Mike Tremont. I like Mike, but you're my friend and all that stuff. And you pay me. So you paid me this morning, so brownie points. No,
Cronies.
This whole candidate grilling thing is not to be a dick. It's not to like, I love you. I've slept on your family, like I don't want to say your daughter's bed. She wasn't there, but I slept at your house in one of your beds. And yeah, I love you and your family and everything. So none of this is personal, but politics is a different thing. And when you jump into the political game, as you know, people are going to ask you tough questions. And nobody in running for president, nobody out there, nobody in the mainstream media is going to like you as much as me and Dave do. They will like you infinitely less than we do. And so any question that we ask you is not going to be, you know, anything that they won't dig up in much, much worse with more nefarious means. Ours is to make sure that whoever is speaking for us or vying to speak for us, you know, explains why they think they are the best candidate and has a good answer to that. So what makes you the best candidate over everybody else who's running so far?
in the Libertarian Party or nationally? I think
I'd say answer both questions separately because they're two very different questions.
Well, I think my policies speak for themselves. I'm definitely the most libertarian candidate in the race. There's no doubt about it. When we talk about gun laws, for instance, if you go to my platform, we're naming those gun laws that we know that we can get rid of right away. I've worked with somebody who works with a really great gun organization on which stuff the president can get away with abolishing and repealing right away. When we talk about the broader presidential race and the Donald Trumps and the Viveks and these guys, they all have some very glaring not libertarian policies. Donald Trump obviously,
Which is why they keep getting reelected.
Yeah, right. Donald Trump definitely is not as big of a gun rights activist as some people would like to think he is. Vivek has talked about killing drug dealers. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there, but I think when it comes down to in the Libertarian Party is that we have some other candidates who might or may not have some good policies. They're not very well known, the current ones. As far as the movement goes, they're not very well known. They also are not very clear in their platforms. If you go and read their platforms, and I would use Chase as an example. One of the reasons why I want to debate Chase so bad is because his platforms are kind of just platitudes, right? It's not like, what are we going to do as president? It's the American people deserve this. Well, what are you going to do? I've talked about, probably my most anti-libertarian platform that everyone is having a cow about is my child protection platform, talking about treating doctors who prescribe life-changing mutilative surgeries and medicines the same as child sex traffickers under the same law, the same federal law. People are really upset about that. But if you go point by point through my platform, and as more platform planks come out, I'm working on some really cool stuff. You'll see that I'm explaining it. I'm telling why I'm giving stats that back up like the fatherlessness and how that attributes to these violent crimes, and how we can go about not incentivizing fatherless homes, or at least not incentivizing one parent to keep a child from the other parent, and stuff like that. So I think that as far as policy wise, I'm going to have the best chance of doing that. But also, like I spoke about in the beginning, there's this election cycle is going to be very rough for whoever the Libertarian candidate is. I know that. I can read the numbers. I can read the fundraising numbers. I can read the membership numbers. I know people that are on the ballot access committee. I know people that are on the convention committee. I still talk to a lot of these people regularly, and it's going to be a struggle to get ballot access in more than 30 states or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I think as far as the experience and what that takes, I've been working with the party in some capacity since the last presidential election and the presidential election before that. And I've worked on ballot access. I've held ballot access fundraisers. I've flown to states and held ballot access fundraisers. So I know what that's going to take. And I think that I have the drive to get that done and get us on the ballot in a lot of states. I think I have enough support from people around the country to help with that as well. I mean, within 24 hours of announcing for president and filing with the FEC, I already had a 20-person campaign team. Within 6 days, we had over a 40-person campaign team. Within 32 hours, we had a full website put up. We've already fundraised. We got a video.
I will say you're already head and shoulders ahead of Jo Jorgensen when she was the nominee. So
yes, and that's what we need. We need somebody that's gonna work and do that work. And I think there's other good candidates, other decent candidates in the Libertarian Party, but I don't think they're accounting for all the work they're going to have to do, especially if they get the nomination. And so I think that I have that that experience ahead of them. And so that's what I think that's what I bring to the table for the Libertarian Party currently. Plus, I know I'm a good messenger. I know I'm not going to go out and fuck up our message, right? Like, I know I'm not going to go out there and start endorsing the Fed or endorsing Hillary Clinton or endorsing wars or any of that stuff.
I wouldn't expect you to expect yourself to fuck up the message.
Most right, and anytime I get on a camera and somebody asks me one of these questions, I'm gonna stay headstrong, and I'm not gonna capitulate on these things, and I think people know that about me. So
sure. James Gentleman with a fake super chat says, we all know Mike Tremont is going to be the nominee. Will Josh take the VP nomination? Shots fired.
That's a good question.
Josh, when Mike Tremont is the inevitable nominee of the dead Libertarian Party at that point, will you be the vice presidential candidate, Joshua Smith?
I will be the vice presidential nominee. I will run for vice president at convention if I don't win the presidential election, and whoever does is somebody that I can get on board with their policies. Now, if it was like a Spike or a Dave Smith or somebody who it came from the Ron Paul revolution, yeah, absolutely, I would be more than happy to step down and run as vice president. If there's a better vice presidential candidate than me, then I'd be happy to go home. Or we could, pick two really bad candidates, and I'll run a write-in campaign through November. I don't care. You know what I mean? We're dedicated to this campaign. We're going to run it all the way through November unless somebody better steps up.
So you would or wouldn't be the Spike Cohen to the Jo Jorgensen?
I would be the Spike Cohen to the Spike Cohen, but not to the Jo Jorgensen.
So you would not be Mike Tremont's vice president. You would not do that.
I don't. I have to do some more studying on him. I have not put him in the top 3 candidates, and so my big focus right now is on Chase, obviously. So
it's a very politically safe answer, sir. Well done.
I don't know enough about his policies. I do know that he's
I don't want to, but if the opportunity arises, I'm not saying no.
And I do know that the little bit that I've seen from him, he reminds me very much of Gary Johnson. So,
we've got a third person who feels that way. He said there was nobody that feels that way. Not a super chat, but John Schweppe has a couple comments here that I got to read. He's a friend of mine. John Schweppe says, John Schweppe for president 2024. Then he says, I will give the libertarians 14% of the things they want. And then he says, I will choose Dan Smots as my Secretary of the Interior. No, I will be your deep state, your head of Illuminati operations or whatever the GOP runs under. I don't know. He's a Republican. Anyway. So let's see here. We've got a couple things. We gotta do some stepping back in time and some revisiting of some old conversations that have been had, and the things. This is from immediately after Reno when I had you and Dave and other Dave and Coward Dave and Karen Ann and a bunch of people on. This
Hoffman.
This is Hoffman was there. Whatever. Kaufman. I just said Hoffman. Anyway.
Something that some other people might not know. I had Sasha Cohen come up to me right around the beginning of the second ballot and said, "Hey man, it seems to us like your vice chairmanship will hurt Angela, And I was like, in my head, I'm like, that's just stupid. Like, of course I'm going to try and support Angela in any way I possibly can.
So you're telling me that the same guy who was protesting outside of Tom Woods' breakfast was really concerned about how Angela's campaign was going.
Exactly. And so I was like, yeah, man, I don't know, man. It might be rough. It might be really rough. And so I got reports back that him and Nick Sarwark and all the other losers were actually whipping votes for me on the floor. And even Jackie Perry and her husband, Daryl, voted for me. And then they got down to the last ballot and thought they would have enough support to get me noted. Unfortunately, they didn't. But yeah, that was a pretty interesting. It might be one of the reasons why I stayed a couple percent up in the first couple of ballots. So
it was those hex votes. Those hexes.
Hey, more power to them. Thanks for putting me over the mark. Of course, I'm going to be a team with Angela and do anything I can. I want to text Angela and be there for her as much as possible.
So, would you say that you were there for Angela as much as possible?
Yeah, in the beginning for sure. Yep, absolutely. I was sending text messages every other day.
Yes, in the beginning, or yes?
Yes, in the beginning. And God, how are we going to get into this? How are we going to navigate this without me?
I don't know. And I don't know. You can say or avoid saying whatever you want. I don't know.
Let me explain it to you.
Hold on. Let me say. I don't know what you know, but also the mainstream media is going to ask you deep questions about why you were the vice chair for 9 months in the
I will tell you. Let me explain something to you. When going into the national convention in Reno, it was very tough for me already, knowing that a big portion of the people that were stumping against me were the people that I had helped get to where we were. And you could say whatever you want about that. Anybody could say whatever they want about that. That's the fucking truth. I helped you get to where you were. That was our pinnacle. That was the shit that we started fighting for in 2017. That was the shit that I gave up, half of my life for over those 6 years. Traveling all around those countries, losing jobs, losing places to live, getting my family attacked every single day, getting, articles written about me being a deadbeat dad and this and that and this and that all the time. That was why we did that. That's why I put my head down and kept going through all those things. And that's why I spent 2 terms on the board with chairs like Nicholas Sarwark and JBH and Whitney Bilyeu. But it's no secret that there was a snaky element of our own people that were actively behind the scenes trying to fight against me, and they weren't fighting fair. They were being pretty evil shits, to be honest with you. Some of the shit they said was really fucked up, and they tried to paint a picture of me that wasn't true. After all I had done to help us get there,
what was that picture that they painted?
that when I was on, the board in California, or when I was on the board in Washington, that I didn't do anything.
Okay.
And when in fact, both of those terms, I was traveling every single weekend for national chairman campaigns every weekend. In fact, the first campaign, there was like a 4.5 to 5 month stint where every Friday I flew out of Portland, Oregon, and I flew back in every Sunday, and I worked 5 days, and then I flew out every Friday and flew back in every Sunday, for 4.5, 5 months. I slept on couches. I slept in hotel lobbies. I slept in bathtubs in Arizona. I did everything I could for this mission. And so to hear somebody saying that I wasn't doing anything, or I was derelict in my duties, when they know that those things were going on, and they know that those boards didn't remove me because of those things that I was doing, it was pretty shitty. And I don't want to sit here and play the blame game and name a bunch of people. That's not what I want to do. I don't. And in fact, my resignation, specifically the way that I did it, was me holding back, way back, dude. I mean, way back, because I respect people like Dave Casey and Clint and Reed, and people that were still going to be around, still doing the things that we had fought to do. Otherwise, I would have just laid it all out personally, publicly. I would have said exactly what I said. And I see Shannon in the chat talking about me shitting on the LP. I'm not shitting on the LP. I got a sour taste in my mouth over the fact that when I had won that vice chair election, I thought that those things would stop. I thought, hey, we got through this. It's over. Let's stop this stuff. And it didn't stop. I was still getting those same snaky things happening. And again, I don't want to sit here and put a bunch of names out, but I was getting calls from membership, people who supported me, asking me, hey, why are so and so saying that you're not doing anything? When the fact of the matter is that I was sending text messages asking for things to do. I got to a point where I just started calling Kara Schultz and working on campaign stuff, inputting campaign info, doing anything that I could, because I was legitimately worried about how this narrative was being painted about me. Furthermore, though, it's become a problem for me that when I see the haters, these people that we bested to get into this position, when I see those people saying things about the direction of the party right now, as far as financials go, donors go, membership goes, I can no longer fight against it. And I didn't bust my ass for all that time to get into that position to do exactly what they said that we were going to do, and that's what's going on. And I'm not gonna sit here and play patty cake with anybody about it. It's what's going on. The membership is down. The numbers are down. The national party is running at a deficit. I have board members calling me right now that have been around since 2017, 2018, telling me shit's fucked up. We're willing to leave and come work on your campaign. Legitimately, that's happening. And I promise you. And in fact, the other day when Ryan and AJ were here, they heard me on a phone call just like that. And these are people who've been around with us and fought with us since 2017. And so when people, when people are asking me, hey, you resigned from vice chair, the reason why I resigned is way more than what I put out. Okay. It's definitely because I didn't do all that fighting to get put into a position to be told that I'm the guy that's ruining the party. I didn't get put into that position to have my own people shit on me privately after we get to where we were going.
It's hard to respond to the vague. I know that you're trying to keep people's names private and all that, but it's hard to even respond to some people said some things about me, and I don't like the things that some people said. I don't know if you can expand more, or Dave, if you want to weigh in or anything, but yeah.
I mean, like I said, I don't want to come on these shows. It's just something that I'm more than willing to have a private conversation with anybody about. I've had hundreds of them since I resigned. And I say 5% of the people that I've had the conversation with didn't get it. That's it. Everybody else who I've had the conversation with, I got receipts, dog. Like I got texts, I got calls, I got emails, man. I got them. And so
I got no sides. I'm just looking for truth. Yeah. If you got receipts, I'm down. And
there was a concerted effort to put so much pressure on me from my own fucking people that I would be either removed from the board or resign. I will say that. And it was either I resign or I reserve a little bit of political capital and hope that this shit all blows over and we still have a chance to do what our initial mission was. My campaign for national, for president, hold on. My campaign for president is as much about bringing a lot of people back to the table that are fed up and mad as it is me winning the nomination. Truthfully, that's the truth.
Dave, go ahead.
Go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
No, it's cool, man. I'm here to learn. I hear you, dude, but I want to echo a little bit of what Dan said. Like, it is kind of incumbent on you to not just have private conversations with people and explain this, but like, if you want to be the messenger, right? You got to like kind of like loudly and publicly kind of, or you will face risk of like, well, there's just all this gray area here that no one can understand. And it's he said, she said, and that's not good for you, dude. So I'd say that. And
it's politics.
I gotta say, man, you can. I get being blackpilled and being pissed off and frustrated with. Man, I used to think that all libertarians, hey, if you're a libertarian, you're probably good people. Like, man, I was so fucking off with that. But if you could make it through 2 terms with the Sarwark regime, and then less than 6 months or so under the McCardle clan, like that doesn't look good, dude. And to be honest with you, you were the only race that was kind of like contested, like within our squad, within the Ron Paul revolution. Was like, oh, is he the better choice, or is the Eric? Which obviously, bro, this was like, we debated it on my show. You guys came on, but it was like, contested within our own community. And I supported you for both of your chair runs. Probably more, you and I got in that Mises Caucus group probably like day one together. And immediately when you declared you were going to run, the first person to ever step up in the history of that caucus was you. And I immediately was like, bro, I make memes and I'm happy to help you out. And I did it for the whole time. The whole second time, we worked on the Iran little piece together. Like, I really liked working with you and pushing for you. And thank you for stepping up when it was brand new. It was risky. It was hard, and nobody else did it. So there's a lot to be said for that, dude. But when you said, hey, these are my people, like, I'm paraphrasing now, but hey, I helped get us here and all this shit. Like, dude, that's true. But man, as someone who practices gratitude every day, like, bro, I was in that group. So I know how much energy, money, resources, all of it for you, sending you around the country so you could, as you would say at the time, kiss babies, shake hands, meet people, do the job, right? That was beneficial for you and for the caucus, right? Because you got.
First of all, wait a minute, Dave. It was never, ever beneficial to my life, dude. I tell you that.
Absolutely. Okay, give me 10 more seconds and I'll prove to you why that's bullshit, bro. Because when you were done with all of it, you got to parlay that energy into a beautiful, successful podcast that would have not had been possible without the energy of the Mises Caucus. And if you deny that, bro, I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know about that. You should take a minute and think about that, because it's fucking true. And it's a copacetic energy of infinite benefit if everybody is getting along free of coercion, and we're doing it for the right reasons. Go ahead, brother.
No, so here, let me. It's this is why it's so hard to navigate, right? But the important part of what you said was you did 2 terms. In my opinion, the most important part for me to respond to. You did 2 terms under terrible fucking boards and then couldn't hack it on the third board, right? Is how people are looking at it. The thing about it is that those 2 boards, I went into it knowing I was going to have to fight those boards, dude, and I was ready to fight them. I mean, that was it. I was ready to fight them, dude. It was part of the mission, was getting on that board and being a stalwart for our ideas, like not letting them bull us over, right? I didn't think I was going to have to fight my own people on a board in my 3rd term. You know what I mean? And I did. I'm telling you right now, I'll send you, when we get off the air, I'll send you Discord messages that I got from a region rep who's an absolute piece of shit, dude. Absolute piece of shit. And that's not it. That's not the only person.
What's that mean to a delegate? What's that mean to a delegate who voted for you, who you're now asking to vote for you again, that you didn't get along with some people on the board, or that they were sending mean messages? Like, dude, I know.
It wasn't just about getting along with somebody. It wasn't just about getting along with somebody, dude. It was much.
So what I would ask you, what you should have done, in my opinion, bro, at the time was go, listen, these people, X, Y, and Z, whoever it was, the executive director, I don't care. I don't care about naming names. I would do it. So you should have done it, dude. You should have named names and been like, this is what this person said, and that's why I can't work here. Instead of, well, you know, hey, this Rage Against the War Machine looks shady, probably a good time for me to get out. Like, that's what it looked like, bro. And it didn't feel good for somebody. Nobody could say that I'm not a Josh Smith supporter and a diehard Meecock, because I supported you and the caucus hard for 6 years. So this is, again, all out of love, man. But you are asking to be president. So, like, we got to talk about this stuff.
I get that. And I know that
big ass,
listen. And I knew that I was going to have to talk about this at some point. And so it's always been for me about navigating. And let me tell you something, dude. I love you to death. You know that. It doesn't none of this shit matters at the end of the day. There's friends that I have all over this country that are going to be my friends no matter what. I don't care, right? I could leave all this stuff behind today and you'd still be my friend, bro. I still think that Dan Smots and Dave Casey is two of my favorite people in the world. You know that. And there's a ton of others too. And so that's the exact reason why when I resigned, I did it the way that I did, is because I didn't want to shit on everybody else's dreams, man. I didn't want to shit on all the other people that are my friends. And Shannon's saying that I'm shitting on all the people that are doing the work. No, I'm not.
But the only thing that would have pissed me off, if you would have just came out and said, hey, the Mises Caucus is stupid and it's not going to work and I don't believe in the strategy, that would have been shitting on me and the other people. But I know you didn't. But if you would have come out and said, hey, man, the executive director is really fucking up, or these people are doing a bad job, that wouldn't have pissed me off. I would have applauded you.
I don't know if you would, man. Because look, dude, we have all these people who put their hope and faith into me. They put their hope and faith into Mike Heiss. They put it into you. They put it into Jeff Douglas. They put it into Luke Enzer. They put their faith in these people, dude, right? And for the guy who's been around since the beginning, like you, like if you were to do this, if you were to hop off and be like, hey, man, everyone's right about the fundraising. The chair's not even making donor calls anymore. Like the shit's all fucked up. Like it's not going to work. If I had done that, dude, all these people that still have their faith in everybody would have walked away. They would have walked away. I know for a fact, because I already know a ton of people.
Is there a problem with people walking away from transparency that's uncomfortable?
I mean, walking away from our mission, dude. So like, when I resigned, I obviously made it a big part about the anti-war rally, which I had a problem with. The coalitions there were not good. They were bad. They were not okay for me. I spent 10 years rallying against communism in America, and I'm not going to go and ally myself with actual tanky communists. But I had a good talk about that publicly on the
anti-war protest ever was put on by communists. You can't. The Libertarian Party can't do it. It's impossible.
Let me finish, Dave. After I resigned, after I
have a lot of things to say because you keep going through waves here too. So
that's
if you could pause every now and then so we can respond.
Okay, hold on. So I had a really good talk offline about that rally with Scott. And I had Scott come on the show and we did it publicly. We had a nice talk about it and we smoothed some things over. Still doesn't make it okay with me. I still would not ever in the history of my life ally myself with the worst political ideology that has ever existed, that has killed 100 million people in the 20th century. I'm not doing it. I don't care how mad that makes people.
Isn't that like guilt by association shit, though? Isn't that like the problem that you have with platforming issues and the stuff that you get accused of?
This is different than platforming. But anyways, let me tell you, dude. When I resigned, it was either, and I had two very different options. One was to say my piece, don't go around and knock a bunch of people and say a bunch of names and talk about fundraising and talk about the donor issue and talk about the membership issue and talk about how when we go into the presidential election in 2024, we're not going to have ballot access in like 15, 20 states. I mean, I could have done all that, dude. I could have came out and said, the Mises Caucus sucks and we're not doing good. And I didn't want to do that. And that's still not what I think. And in fact, every time I've talked about it on my show, as salty as I am about the whole situation, dude, okay? And you would be fucking salty too, Dave. I promise you. If you had done all that stuff and then your own friends were conspiring against you, you would have been fucking salty, dude. Okay?
Bulldog Gamer says, when I got the full story, I basically stopped giving a shit about National. So, some people agree with you. It's not...
He comes and eats... Dude, I'm telling you, out of the 100 phone calls I've had, maybe 5% of them have not agreed with me. But let me tell you something, dude. I could have shit on everybody, but I didn't want to shit on everybody. I wanted the people that are still doing the work to continue to do the work. And every time I've been salty about it on my show, if you watch my show on any regular basis, every time on my show that I've been salty about it, I've never named names. Okay. At the end of my tirades, I always say, I still believe that if we're going to have any political success in this country, it's going to come from the Mises Caucus. So you should still join the Mises Caucus. I still believe that you should join the Libertarian Party. Like, I've never once tried to go around to the Mises Caucus people and say, don't join them. I still think it's the play. I do. But for me personally, I wasn't going to spend all that time and all that capital and all that political capital sitting on a board with people that are already conspiring against me, that are my own people. It's just not going to happen, dude. I'm not going to do that. And I'm sure as hell not going to give the haters the ammunition that they need to say, see, we were right. After all that time, we were right. They were wrong. They're destroying the party. They're doing this. They're doing that. I wasn't going to be that guy. I wasn't going to give them the option to say that about me after all the work that I put in. And I don't see how anybody else on that board can do it either.
They can say that, though. They can say, because they said that you would work against them and then you would bail. So
okay.
I mean, they'll certainly use it against you.
They could. Sure, Dan, they can say that I stepped down. Okay. But they can't come to me and tell me that the donor number is way down and the fundraising is way down and nobody's even making donor calls anymore and the staff is all out the door and we don't even have staff replaced yet. Robert Kraus, the greatest person that's ever worked for this party, and I'm going to say that publicly, I don't give a shit what anybody says, when there was no glue holding that party together, Robert Kraus was the glue. And he's gone. Okay? I don't care how you feel about Kara Schultz talking shit about people. When we had nobody helping candidates, she was the one helping candidates. And she was helping candidates that didn't fucking like her and she didn't like. And she was the one doing it. She was the only one doing it. And she's out the door. Every step, Gabby had just put together a fundraising program and was getting ready to raise us money out the door. Okay? We got rid of every single person that could contribute to that staff. My friend Reed Cooley, my idea to get him hired. The second I won my vice chair position, I was sending text messages. This guy helped build y'all's communication system. We need to hire him right away. Got him hired. Within 3 weeks, he was telling me, I'm handcuffed. I can't do the things I need to do to get this done. Okay? And that was the final straw for me, really, dude. Okay? So you guys want to talk about how it's, it's terrible that you step down and I don't give a shit. Be mad at me, but call me first. Let's have a talk about it, because there was people that were doing really good work. Look, Sean Patrick says that Kara Schultz was trash. Okay, you don't have to agree with her, but man, she did so much work. She did so much. I sat on a board with her, man, like with her doing the work. She worked her ass off, dude. Like her ass off. She was the one putting together candidate packages. She was the one putting together websites, having websites put together for candidates, man. The whole thing was just trash, dude. It was trash. So, we drove the party straight down immediately.
So I'm not even arguing with you. I have no idea. I don't know what the behind the scenes is. I mean, I'm friends with you. I'm friends with Heiss. I'm friends with Angela. Everybody. I don't know. I don't really have a dog in this fight. I just want to know what's true. And my issue isn't with you stepping down in this section of the conversation. My issue is it doesn't really add up that you're saying some really bad things went down that I can't really talk about, but also I really support these guys and want them to do really well. You're saying that they're conspiring against you, but also you want them to be successful and you love them. So I'm just looking for the truth, man.
No, I'm not saying, let me clear that up. I'm not saying this about everybody. I'm saying that about a large majority of the Mises Caucus, a large majority. I still want to see them be successful. I still love Mike Heiss. I think Jeff Juglas is one of the coolest dudes I ever fucking met in my life. Okay. Those guys have been around since day one too, obviously. You know what I mean? But there's some people, I think we made some mistakes in 2022 in Reno. I'm hoping to bring some people to the table for this presidential campaign that can fix some of those mistakes and get the caucus and the mission back on track. That's it. But right now it's not on track. I don't think it's on track, dude. I think that we lost a lot of steam after Reno. It felt like the air immediately came out of the whole balloon, dude.
Sure.
As soon as we stepped off of the stage in Reno, dude. And
it felt a lot like
those people are fucking pussies. Hold on one second. You know why that happens, man? Because all the adventure, all the excitement of fucking chasing down the dragon and slaying the Sarwarks, that fucking happened. And all the people that just liked that part, the endorphin rush of owning these fucking nerds, they pieced out. Because it's not as fun to work on local elections and coalition building and like doing actual work. Most people don't do that. They're sunshine patriots, as to take from Ron Paul, bro. They don't. So of course, in a non-presidential cycle where the job had just been completed, of course, donations are going to go down, and
they slayed the dragon. They need a new dragon to slay, and they don't have a presidential debate or presidential election. So now the dragon is the Mises Caucus. In some ways, I'm not saying that the Mises Caucus is getting completely unfairly.
I think there's some, bro. No, that's fair. I think too, because they haven't been perfect, but the Mises Caucus is still the best thing to happen to the party since, I don't know, Harry Brown. You know what I mean? Like at least
low bar, yeah.
No, okay. Other than that, David Nolan's living room. That in '71, Harry Brown, Mises Caucus. Those are the fucking pillars as far as I'm concerned. So, but yeah, I mean, they're not perfect, but you know, the real work began after Reno, right? I'm pretty sure they spent about, a load of money. Let's just say that a load of donor money to go have that 6-city tour where they went to like the urban centers and brought out all the best people, Tom Woods, Dave Smith, whatever, Marsh all gave speeches. And then they did the following day, free candidate trainings for anybody who wants to go. Honestly, man, the LNC should be doing that. Not the Mises Caucus.
No shit.
They should be They should be paying Mike's fucking salary for all the work he did for that shit. So, I mean, I know the caucus is, but some people have a problem with that. It's like, go get your own.
And I need you to, when we have this conversation, I need you to separate the LNC from the Mises Caucus. I love the Mises Caucus. I love Mike Heiss. I love those guys. You know that. You know that.
Yeah. Yes, I do.
It's not. This isn't my knock on the Mises Caucus. It's my knock on the certain members of the LNC, and the fact that we could talk about the dragon's been slayed, but tell me what would have but between 2022 and 2024, what would have slayed the nerds more? Just taking over the LNC, or taking over the LNC and then being the most successful LNC of all time, like what we promised?
Yeah.
Would it be getting enough infrastructure between 2022 and 2024 to run somebody like a Dave Smith? That's how we slayed the dragon, dude. That's how we really stuck it to him and made those people eat their words. But that's not what happened. Okay.
But I don't think that's a possibility, man.
I do.
To turn the Titanic, right? Once you see the iceberg, bro, it's too late, right? To turn that boat. So the same thing could be said with this fucking gelatinous mess of feds and fucking dorks that's been moving for 50 years at molasses speed, right? Of course, when the heroes show up to commandeer the ship, it's going to take a while to turn it. So I'm not surprised, again, that there are some people that are like, wait a second, you've had 6 months to fix this party and you haven't. It's like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, this is, but you have to be.
David, it's been over a year. It's been over a year now. And we're still trending downwards, man.
No, listen, I have gripes with the party. I am disappointed in certain things, fundraising being one of them. I'm just saying some of these things could be expected if we were managing our expectations, right? What year one would look like. I'd like to see
what do you think the most important thing priority for the chair would be for the National Party?
Growth.
What do you think would be the most important thing? Donors, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, why isn't our chair making donor calls?
I don't know.
That's ridiculous. It's been over a year. It's been over a fucking year, dude. Okay. I saw the writing on the wall prior to Reno, and I kept telling myself, no, that's not how it's going to be. And it's exactly like I said it was going to be in my own head. Okay. And like I said, again, people can be as mad as they want at me, dude. That's fine. I get it, dude. It was the hardest decision I've ever had to make in my entire life to resign from that fucking board, dude. Absolutely. I put so much thought into that, dude. You have no idea. And trying to think about how to navigate it without hurting my friends. Dude, it was fucking brutal. I cried real tears like a bitch.
I understand that. That would suck.
It was hard, dude.
It.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I did it. It wasn't like I did it because I was like, oh, I want to fuck these people up and hurt everybody. I did it because I had to do it, man. And I didn't want to have to do it. And it sucks.
For sure.
And it still sucks.
We'll talk more about how it sucks. But this is going back a little bit to the last topic, but just on where the party is moving. This is a clip from PorkFest, and let's just watch.
Do we have any plans to make sure the SARWarks aren't hanging around, garnering support behind the scenes, to make sure that we maintain control of the party and not let it slip, not let the gains.
Buddy, the Sarwarks are hanging around ready to take control of the party again. I promise you. In fact, I was talking to my friend Elijah yesterday, and he talked to Nick Sarwark at the convention, and Nick had this. It's actually a really good analogy, but coming from him, it just sounds really smarmy. But he said that the Mises Caucus is like a kid who wants to drive the car, right? There's no gas in the car, and he doesn't like what's playing on the radio station. So he steals the car and starts driving up the street. He don't got no money for gas, but he's listening to what he wants to on the radio station. And he said, I'm just going to wait till he gets a couple miles down the road, breaks down. I'm going to come back in. I'm going to put money back into the car. I'm going to change the radio station back to where I want it. He's wrong, man.
First off, do you think he was wrong?
I think he could still be wrong.
Sure.
If some things were to change. But
if you pick the right presidential candidate.
No. Look, dude, I want to make this clear because this show is obviously not about my presidential campaign at this point. Okay. I want to be clear that like I said in the beginning, my presidential campaign is as much about bringing people that have been around since I've been around back to the table as it is about me getting the nomination, because there's a lot of people that aren't going to be in DC, dude. There's a lot of people that are just fucking done. They're watching the same thing that I'm seeing, and they're done. And these people have been around long enough. Look, there's a lot of new members of the Mises Caucus over the last 2 or 3 years that don't really understand the inner workings of the party. They don't really understand the donors. They don't really understand the fundraising. They don't understand how the administrative side of that stuff works. And it's hilarious because I'm going to bring up another Nick Sarwark fucking analogy here. When I first started this shit in 2017, Nick told me, and I said this in the video that you made, why don't you run for at-large first and then run for vice chair, and then I'll support you for chair, right? Because you don't know what you're doing. You have no idea what you're doing. You have no idea what goes on behind the scenes. You have no idea what ballot access, how much ballot access consumes. You have no idea how much administrative stuff it consumes. You have no idea how to work with the staff, and that's your job. That's going to be your job as the chair. And I laughed. I scoffed. I told everybody I knew better than Nick Sarwark did, dude. And that wasn't true. It just wasn't fucking true. I had no idea how any of that shit worked. But to keep face, I had to act like I did. And I think that there's a lot of people new to the party and new to the caucus, especially, who still don't understand how that stuff works. And I've been watching these metrics, these metrics of fundraising and donors and membership since 2016 is when I first started paying attention to them. So we're talking 7 years, going on 8 years since the 2016 election, presidential election. And we're not in a good spot. The party is not in a good spot. And unless somebody takes control and starts putting us back in a good spot, then Nick Sarwark is going to be waiting in 2024 with his keys in his hand to take the car back, dude.
That was actually my next question was, do you think, I understand that you had enough to push you over the edge to get you out of being the vice chair, but is there a part of you that thinks me stepping down as vice chair left a vacuum for the greater potential of a Nick Sarwark coming back in, like you said? If they're waiting in the wings, did you hand it back to him?
No, they were already waiting, man. And I've tried to do my best to when I talk to people about this situation to say, hey, man, you still need to show up in DC. You still need to do your thing. Don't let me being salty about this hurt what you got going on, right? And that was one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to step down the way that I did, instead of blasting everybody and saying shit's fucked up. And that's why I'm still here saying these things to people in private, but when I'm done, I had a phone call today. When I'm done, I'm like, look, dude, we got to get people to DC, and we got to put people into positions that are going to do this thing right. And this is salvageable. It's still salvageable. Mm-hmm. It is. I believe that. But if we go into 2020 or 2024 in DC and we don't make those changes and we lose the party, it was like 6 years for nothing, dude. For nothing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people that put a lot of time and effort into this, especially over the last 4 years, that are going to be really bummed out. And some of those people already walked away. They've already walked away. And so we need to figure that out. And like I said, this campaign is as much about getting some of those people back to the table to have that conversation as it is about winning the nomination, for sure.
Right on, man. We're going to take a quick break, get an ad from our sponsors, grab a pee, grab a drink, grab whatever you need to calm yourself, because we're going to get even darker when we get back. Here's a word from Asteros. We'll be right back, kids. Today's episode is sponsored by Asteros Cybersecurity Services. These days, organizations of all sizes are targets for cyber criminals, disgruntled employees, or even nation-state attackers. Asteros performs cybersecurity services, providing expert guidance to help organizations defend against threats and protect their data. Asteros specializes in penetration testing, where they perform ethical hacking on networks, web apps, or organizations as a whole, to simulate what an attacker would do and plug the discovered holes before anyone malicious finds and exploits them. Asteros also specializes in vulnerability management, security awareness training, phishing simulations, cloud security audits, compliance readiness assessments, and much more. As technology expands, it becomes easier and easier to run a business, but if your security is not growing along with your company, then you're going to run into problems. If you don't personally have a company of your own, definitely pass this information along to someone who does, because for a limited time, Asteros is offering companies an attack surface audit completely free. Let Asteros discover potential entry points to your network and how susceptible your company or organization is to cyber attacks. To learn more and to take advantage of this essential offer, just go to asteros.com/free. That's Asteros, ASTEROS.com/free. And we are back. Josh is here just in time.
Impeccable timing.
Yes, not bad. That is the fastest smoke I've ever seen. Fake super chats. We've got a few of them. We'll catch up here. James Gentleman says, fake super chat. Sure, but did you form an exploratory committee, Josh?
You think the Libertarian Party has the resources for an exploratory committee? Come on, man.
Fake super chat from Grumpy Gnome. What's your plans to get your name out to the normies?
Sure. So this campaign is going to be run with a central theme of blue collar working class. And like I said, I have a really great team already. I already have a great manager who we're still in talks about the contract itself. So I'm not going to name any names yet. Got a great treasurer, but I got a lot of people working on media for me already. Of course, I've already sent some money to my good friend Dan Smots. We're going to be at
buttering me
media.
That's why I'm going so hard.
I
mean, if I was waiting on your dollars, I would be a little bit nicer to you, because I'd be like, I don't know if he's going to pay me, but since you already paid, I can be a dick all day.
Yeah. Well, I just we're gonna run a really media heavy campaign, and it's gonna be in your face, and it's gonna be in the branding of the podcast, since we already have the branding for it. Obviously, if you checked out the colors, there's a lot of Dago colors to the campaign. But I think being able to force the Overton window with a very radical platform in a direction, but said in a way that is not like, I'm not like one of the crazy libertarians out there. Like, yeah, dude, you know, we gotta abolish this, abolish that, abolish this. I'm actually giving a plan on what we can do after we abolish it, or repeal it. Right. Yeah. That's an important thing too. I don't think we've had a lot of libertarian candidates that have a plan as far as presidential elections go. I think a lot of them, people who get the nomination, sans Gary Sharp, Gary Johnson, have never really worked in any political arena, and I have people who have been elected working on my campaign, giving me the insight onto what I can actually get accomplished as a president, things that I can actually do. I'm not just laying out pipe dreams. I'm saying things that I can do from the executive branch. I think that'll resonate with people. But like I said, the central theme of my campaign is going to be, blue collar Americans who are fed up with the plight that the federal government forces us under every day. And so I'm going to really message to that part of the population, because that's the people, in 2016, the 61% of the people that didn't vote for a presidential candidate were largely blue collar working class Americans, dude. Like lower middle class Americans who are just so fed up with the system that they don't even see a chance to vote for a presidential candidate. So I think that's where we're going to be a little different. I haven't seen a lot of our candidates message to that demographic specifically, and we're going to spend a lot of time being media heavy and talking to those people.
Political running strategy number 1: answer the question you want to answer, not the question you were asked. Good job, sir. You're doing great.
Wait, that was didn't you ask me how
exploratory committee was the question?
No, we had another question after that, buddy.
I don't remember.
No, the question after that was how were we going to get right.
Your answer was so long I forgot. Even still.
Yeah. Okay.
Good job. I
Okay.
appreciate it. I'm just giving you shit. Sean Patrick says, fake super chat. Who is someone better to step up? Clint Russell, whose name I've seen thrown around. Clint Russell is just like a fucking podcaster loser, right?
Just like me.
Yeah, and me.
Just bigger. Much bigger. Much bigger. Not bigger in stature. We're the same size, but
I think
bigger,
we need like a rap battle between
podcast
you, me, Dave Casey, and Clint Russell over who should be the next Libertarian presidential nominee.
It's not fair because it's not fair for you guys because I've already heard y'all rap. So
yeah,
no, but
well, Clint, you can take Clint, right? Come on.
I think Clint would be great. I'd love to see Clint step up and run. I don't think he will. I've had a phone conversation with him. I don't think he's going to do it.
Sure.
In fact, I think he would rather do anything else but run for president. To me, a good step up would be like somebody like Dave Smith, who has seemingly kind of just decided he's not going to run without really saying much. I think Spike Cohen would be really great. Although we don't see eye to eye on everything, I think he's a great messenger. There's other people that I think are probably better than me, have more name recognition at least.
Sure.
So should someone like that step up, I'd be more than happy to, like I can just announce that I'm switching my campaign to vice president. It's not that crazy, right?
Yeah.
And then if somebody steps up better for vice president, I'd be glad to stay home with my kids. I don't care in that respect. But it does mean a lot to me. And like I said, if the party chooses somebody like a Chase, I'm dedicated to running this campaign as a write-in campaign all the way through November of next year. I'm dedicated to that right now.
Right on. One more fake super chat for now, which will lead us into the next conversation. I forgot to grab a drink during the break. Shit. All right. Heflumps Woozle says, fake super chat. Dan, can we get a 3-way episode with Josh, Angela, and Michael, each explaining their perspectives? Oh, I thought she said Michael Malice. Damn it. That doesn't transition nearly as well into the next conversation that I had. But go ahead and answer that while I grab a drink.
I don't know that that's something that I would do. I think that if we're going to have a conversation like that, it needs to be in private, honestly. I think that would be just a fucking mess, a very big mess. So you're muted, Dave. Dave, you're muted,
Such
buddy.
a boomer. I know. But dude, you should probably consider, if that could happen, you should absolutely do that. Because if everybody's telling the truth, then we will get to the best place. It's simple, bro. And Angela is a titan, and Mike is a fucking beast, and so are you. So everybody should theoretically be working together, right? I want to assume.
I agree.
There's got to be some serious miscommunication here, because I sure
wish that's what it was, dude. I'm sure wish that's what it was, and I'll tell you, dude. Like,
is there anything? Are these things that you can share in the after party, or is that still too public?
I mean, I've shared a lot already, dude. And if you guys don't beleave me, just go look at the numbers.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, I'm happy to have private conversations. Again, just looking for truth.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. I don't want to blast these people. I want Angela to do good. Look, dude, when one of the big concerns with me going into the convention was that I was going to be too alpha for Angela, right? Like that was what everyone kept saying. He's going to try and take over and be too alpha and this and that. The first thing I did after that convention was over was I went online and I ordered a really nice gavel and had it engraved with the chair that saved everything, dude. Okay. And had it sent to her. I was ready, man. I'm telling you, I was ready. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care. It doesn't matter if we have this conversation or not. I was ready to do the right thing, man. And I wanted to, this was my goal from day one I didn't care if I was the chair. I didn't care if I was the vice chair. I didn't care if I was on the board at all. What I cared about was seeing a party that was successful at the hands of the Mises Caucus, dude. That's all I gave a shit about. And so it's been rough to watch, man. It's been very, very, very disheartening to watch. And I don't wish any ill will on anybody. I don't want to have some yelling match with Mike and Angela on the air. I think that would be a mess.
Sure.
I do.
I think that everybody is mature enough to speak. Everybody is mature enough to speak.
I think it'll be a yelling match.
Absolutely.
We had Angela and I had a yelling match prior to the convention, dude. So if you think that was bad then, it's way worse now. So,
all right.
No.
Well, the next comment is a better transition. Pinord says, fake super chat, Michael Malice for press secretary. So that's much smoother of a transition here, because this leads us into a question from a couple years or last year at PorkFest from a young, handsome viewer.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Mr. Smith.
Hello, Mr. Smots.
I don't remember what.
Round of applause for Dan Spots. You guys know Dan Spots? He's the real MVP here.
Thank you. And I think I just got laryngitis from this mic or something, whatever she said she had. But it's fine. We share. Now, I'm going to say something very controversial here at Libertarian
shocked.
Porkfest.
Very shocked.
I, for one, don't trust politicians. And you, sir, are now one. So if I'm going to, endorse somebody or give them my vote or anything like that, I'm going to hold my politicians accountable. So I have to hold you accountable for things that you guys said before going into office. You and Angela said Michael Malice was going to get the Twitter keys. And I just want to know. I'm holding you accountable, sir. Thank you.
Well,
we all know that didn't happen, but that's not really what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about more is a big push that you had in that same kind of space in vein was that you had a big media plan and you had you were going to get us exposure and do this and that. What opportunities did you have to do that, and what did you do? I mean, just as far as like things that you ran on and things that you said you would do, just as we would say to any politician, you ran on this. What did you do with that?
Sure. So not much. I can tell you that. In the beginning, Angela came to me and asked me if I wanted to do a show for the party, like run an actual podcast like show like I do for my own show.
That would have been fucking dope.
I don't know, dude. I don't know if I would have been right for it.
So Michael Malice isn't right for the Twitter keys either. It's not about being right. It's about doing something that needs to be done.
Yeah. So I put a lot of thought into it, and I wrote up a paper. At first, I said I'd do it, and then I asked if we had any money in the budget to get a intro and outro for the show, which of course was going to be, I was going to contact you and see if you could do it, there was no money in the budget for that, for the intro outro. So I was like, all right, well, I guess we'll have to fund, and Angela had mentioned, I guess we'll have to fundraise for that if we want to do that. And so I kind of wrote up like a minor outline of what I wanted to do for the show, but it was just really, I didn't see it as a great idea, to be honest with you.
Did they have like parameters around what this show would be, or was it kind of just like, Josh, do your show?
No, but I knew there would be. And if you guys remember the Bitcoin, the crypto fundraiser that we did, they had me hop on the show with. Were you on there, Casey, with me? Or I know it was Clint was on there with me. I can't remember who else.
I think I was on there for a second. I remember very little.
Yeah,
about
you might have been
I
on there
think
too. But I started getting text messages right away, including from Angela, like trying to reel me in right away.
I do
trying
remember
to reel
that.
me in right
there were
away.
some things said while I was on there that got some text from.
And so it was kind of at that point where I was like, yeah, this isn't a good idea. It's not going to be a good idea to have me run a show for the party, because I'm not going to hold back. Everybody knows that about me. I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to say what I feel. And so I didn't think it was a good idea for me to do that. But it was, not long after
Ryan
that too.
Dawson.
Yeah.
LP
I don't know.
podcast.
Josh, this was one of the things that you were saying this for a couple years, and I thought that it was a really good idea. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was it called the Media Hit Squad, like the regional
Media Hit Squad?
Hit Squad.
Yep.
It was, right.
Mm-hmm.
To me, as the person who was making your memes and fucking trying to come up with interesting ways to get the message out with you, dude, I was very excited about this. So I'm just saying, like, that's one of the things that the three of us could be working on that project together right now. You know what I mean? Because it wouldn't have taken any money. I know. I
never got that far, man. Yeah, I would have too. I honestly, because I had already started building that Hit Squad right in 2020, with other pretty cool name libertarians. But we never got that far, man. It got to, like I said, it got to a point where I'd text and ask for things to do, and I wouldn't get a response. And so I was working with Kara Schultz, man.
Yikes.
They're not doing that much, man. There's not a lot going on administratively right now in that party. There's not a lot going on at the national headquarters, man. There's just not. It's not happening. So,
yeah. So we do have to touch a little bit more on the Rage Rally stuff, because I know we've covered it quite a bit, but on some of your recent episodes. What I think it was the one after your resignation, talking about the rally. You said, "I understand that you don't want to associate with certain people." Not meaning to put words in your mouth, but you don't want to associate with certain communists and stuff like that. But it seems like in the past you were more about the I don't know, allying around certain topics and issues and things like that. But in your episode, you did say that it was that they were pro-Russia Marxists, which, from my perspective, just seemed like you were painting the whole thing the same way the mainstream media would, because as we know, it was not a pro-Russia Marxist rally. There were a couple speakers that people disagree with, and Dave Casey was there talking to some of those Marxists and communists. I don't know if they were specifically pro-Russia, but I do want to talk a bit about the perception of this rally and some of the things that you took issue with, as far as not necessarily the one dude, which, real quick, the one guy, what's his name? The guy, pedo guy, communist pedo, whatever.
Oh, yeah,
guy that you took the biggest issue with. Scott Ritter. Yeah, I don't.
He wasn't. He's not. Scott is not a communist. He's not one of the. He's
okay.
Not.
I don't know that much about him.
Communist.
Sure. Yeah. Sorry, I'm jumping around a bit, but that guy in particular, the main thing I wanted to ask on that is, to my understanding, Angela was trying to get him taken off, and you bailed while she was trying to get him removed, and then complained that the LP was having too much association with this type of person. Do you want to comment on that?
No, I don't know that she was trying to. I know she had sent a message talking about it. This is private stuff. I don't know how much I can talk about because a lot of it was like.
I know for a fact Angela was trying to get. I know for a fact she was trying to get him off.
Okay.
That. But I don't know. I don't know the timelines. I'm not saying that, but she did for sure.
Yeah, and obviously I have my issues with Ritter. I know that a lot of people like Ritter, and so. That's fine if that's what you want to do. Of course, I'm not sold at all on his story about his convictions.
Sure.
But that wasn't my biggest gripe, dude. I think my very biggest gripe was the legitimate tanky Marxist Leninist communists that we're allying with, and I literally got death threats if I showed up to that thing, legitimately. And I shared them on my Twitter. I mean,
what?
It's not like it's
what
untrue.
What did they say?
If I showed up to the anti-war rally, this guy said he was going to shoot me, dude. Legitimately.
I mean, was it for anything specific, or was like Angela getting death threats too, or was it just you? Like,
I don't know.
Why
I honestly don't know. I don't know. But I was talking about the rally. Look, dude, I did a voiceover for a commercial for the rally, dude. Like, you know what I mean? I just can't. I can't personally ally myself with communists, dude. I'm not going to do it. I've spent basically my entire time in politics since 2008 fighting them, dude, because they're the bearer of the absolute worst political ideology in the world. I mean, the most killer political ideology in the world. And so I would have been more than happy if that was the only thing I had a gripe about when I resigned. I would have been more than happy for that to be it. Unfortunately, obviously it's not the only reason. But I like I said, maybe before. No, it was after the anti-war rally had happened. Scott and I had one of his famous 2-hour phone calls on my phone. I probably went through half a pack of cigarettes talking to him, and then we did a show about it, a public show. It's literally on my podcast feed. You can go watch it. Where we kind of straightened some things out and ironed some things out. And I told him that, as long as, I'm glad that there's an anti-war movement. I still, even after that takeaway, there's no way that I can ally myself with communists, dude. I just can't do it. Sure. But that he did ease my mind about a lot of things, with that specifically. And so it became less of an issue for me after speaking with Scott Horton. But it also wasn't the only thing that I named in my resignation letter either as the reason I was leaving.
Oh no, I'm not saying it was the only reason. I'm just bringing up the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Dave, I mostly want you to weigh in here on this because I mean, obviously you guys disagree on this. Dave, you were there and you shook hands with the communists. And frankly, that was one of my favorite interviews, the one that you got with the communist and shaking his hand and saying, fuck the fascists together. To me, that's powerful, but I don't know. You want to speak to that?
Actually, yeah, man, I can actually really bro down with both of you on this one because Josh, I detest communism. And in Delaware, we're trying this coalition shit here, man. Like at the party, the chair of the LPDE is big on this. And around here, like Joe Biden's headquarters is going to be 10 minutes down the road from me in Wilmington. A very black city. Right? So in Wilmington,
a lot of basketball.
Where so in Wilmington, if you want to change the culture, you've got to talk to black people. Sorry, New Hampshire. It's got to be done in Delaware. It's just what you got to do. And here, like he's the chair here, Carter, is doing a great job, man. He's only had the gig for a couple months, and he's made some great, like he's on a first name basis with some of the people in like the ACLU, right? On Twitter. Obviously we detest these people. They're the worst people. Like at the corporate level, we know their intentions. We know who you are. We see you, communist. But at the street level, bro, it's not the same thing. If there's a ACLU to communist pipeline, which there is, in fact, the Working Families Party is, working in, we've worked with them too, which I hate. I get it. It's like, these are awful, disgusting people who are championing evil, destructive,
the worst shit.
The worst shit. But at the same time, you should see some of the results that we're getting, man. Like, and they do want some. I'm just speaking for my personal experience here. We can bro down on ending qualified immunity. Police. Like, dude, at this point, I'm quoting the guy. This guy from the ACLU was giving this big speech. He's one of the biggest, advocates for, I'm sure he wants housing and all the other shit too, but he's just for fighting against injustice. And he goes, LPD is right next to him. He goes, whatever the Libertarian Party's demanding, we're demanding. Whatever is, for human rights, that's what we're for. So it's like, bro, there's enough common ground there. That's all I'm saying. So to take it back to the war rally thing, it's like, I totally understand why you wouldn't want to spend time with communists because you know so much about the ideology and what it could lead to. And it's like totally valid, bro. However, I like that the chair was able to come up with, with this lefty Nick Brana, who was running, some fly-by-night political party that, attracts, I don't know. I don't even care because I'm only here to sharpen the most radical party on earth right here, the Libertarian Party. But outside of our party, I'll work with anybody. So as long as I can know that what we're doing in here, I'm represented and I know what that means.
And
but
if we're
out
trying
there,
to
bro,
stop nuclear World War III, does it fucking matter if they're communist or capitalist or like if they're against annihilation of the human race? Does it matter if they have bad ideology that can lead to eventual annihilation of the human race? If they're against immediate annihilation, isn't that a start?
I think there's an argument to be made that it doesn't, obviously, but I also believe that having my name on something that also includes a party of people that would put me up against the wall and shoot me in the back of the head is a hard thing for some people to do, man. You know what I mean? And that's really what it was for me. Was I don't want to ally myself. I mean, look, dude, I'm sure there's some communists that want to end the federal government too, and as soon as they get that chance, they're going to turn around.
That guy that Dave Casey shook hands with probably isn't going to put you up against the wall. Let's be honest. Like, if shit hits the fan, I don't think he necessarily follows that ideology out. Like, we're talking about real humans here, not just ideologies. And these people might, maybe they're slightly communist. Maybe they're convinced that they're communist because of the way the mainstream media makes communism out to be a glorious thing right now. And you showing up and speaking reasonably to them is what keeps them from becoming the person that would put you up against the wall in that situation.
Yeah, I got to say that I think that, my time traveling around the country and dealing with a ton of communists online and through the podcast, that it doesn't matter what they coalition with us on. They still want us dead. If the mainstream media was like, yeah, down with pedophiles, I'm still not going to want to talk to them. You know what I mean? Because they're still going to find a way to try and make me look like the bad guy. And I guess that was a concern of mine. But like I said, dude, none of this really matters because at the end of the day, I had a conversation with Scott, much like what Dave is saying, where I was like, all right, I get it. I see what you're talking about, man. You know what I mean? And I'm never going to work with communists. Yeah, it was a good episode. And Scott's a smart fucking guy, man. Anybody who knows Scott Horton knows he's a smart guy. He knows how to get you to see things from his view. And it was an important conversation for me to have.
By force and will of 4 hours in the back of Dave Casey's car. Well, Scott Horton screams at us about how we're wrong about 9/11. Yes, I'm familiar with his
that was the
tactics.
best.
Oh, dude, I've had nothing will ever be as funny as Scott yelling at me on my own podcast because I called Nick Sarwark a CIA operative, dude. Nothing will ever be funnier than that.
We were all right. Scott Horton was wrong 2 times.
Yep.
Just saying.
Yeah.
No, it's all good.
So yeah, I believe that those, allying with communists in history has been a regretful experience for most of the people that have done it. You know what I mean? And so I worry about that.
I get it. Kind of. I still don't like it. And optics-wise, I'm not a big fan of optics and don't really care that much about them. But optics-wise, for you to leave at that point, and it kind of felt like throwing them under the bus when they're doing like the only anti-war rally that the Libertarian Party has ever done, let alone the biggest one that has been done anywhere in
I don't think it's
while.
the only one they've ever done. I think they did one in 2002 after 9/11. Yeah. And I think there's been more. That was I remember vaguely that kind of headline being put out that it was the only anti-war rally that the party's ever done. I don't believe that to be
the only
true,
one I've
actually.
ever seen, but I haven't been here.
I'm sure there was some in the 70s, probably not as big.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there was one after 9/11, and there may have been one in 80 or 92 or 92 after during the first Iraq War. So,
but honestly, man, I respect you not wanting to be a part of that event and not wanting to bro down with commies. But that event was the best thing the Libertarian Party has been a part of in a really long time
since I've been here. Yes.
I'm glad. And you know what? I'm not gonna knock that. I'm glad it was a good thing. I'd like to know.
It's not like everybody on the other side was all communist, pro-Russia, whatever.
Right. I'm sure there was wonderful
Jimmy
people
Dore's
there,
and amazing
no
people
doubt.
there. That is amazing.
Some of the people that I loved
up with Jimmy Dore.
Yeah, some of the people that I love the most in this world were at that rally, dude. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying
this is a testament
everybody
to the
who went there
power
is
of the Libertarian Party. The Libertarian Party does have power. It has the power to bring Tulsi Gabbard, Ron Paul, Dennis Kucinich, all these people to the same spot. I mean, there was no Libertarian Party speaker there. Spike Cohen wasn't there. Dave Smith wasn't there talking shit. It was all of the biggest names in anti-war that you could ask for.
Sure. And that's great, dude. On the other foot of that, I would like to know the statistics of what it turned into. You know what I mean? Like, did it accomplish anything? Do we have a higher membership than we did when we went into that thing? Do we have higher donations than we did when we went into that thing? And I think that it didn't really, turn into anything great. And of course, the media was against it. Of course, the haters were against it.
Fewer people that were haters within our party, it would have helped create more.
I don't know. Would it?
Maybe.
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know. And so I'm glad that there was an anti-war rally. Don't get me wrong, dude. I think that we should be having anti-war rallies once a month. We don't have the resources for that, but it would be great if that was a regular thing. It would
clearly be a clusterfuck if we did. So,
but it also needs to turn into something, right? Like if we're going to hold a rally like that, it needs to have some measurable results.
That event, you're going to have to check this out. I'm sure it's available somewhere, but I'm pretty sure that event and that nonprofit that those 2 people started made money. So I'm just
okay.
I don't know if that's an argument against bureaucracy, the board style that the parties run and things or what. But
no, I'm just saying if we're going to put a lot of capital, invest a lot of capital into something like that, it's got to return, right? Like it's important that it returns. All the processes that come from the national board are essentially business decisions. It's an administrative board. It's just supposed to be business decisions that have a return on investment, right? So like if we put out a fundraising letter, we pay for that, right? If we put out donor calls, we're having staff do them, we're paying for that, right? So all that stuff needs to be thought of in terms of how is it going to return on our investment? How is it going to help grow the party? How is it going to give us more candidates, more donors, more members? And so those things, they're important. It is something that is important that needs to happen for a party to be successful. I know it sucks. It sucks that we have to talk about administrative bullshit, right? It sucks that we have to grow as a party to be successful on the political stage, but it's the facts of politics, right? And so I'm like I said, I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. I'm glad that there was an anti-war rally. I'm glad that people came together and fought against the warfare state, dude. I think that's great. I think Scott alleviated a lot of my biggest concerns about it. But I still personally, I want to see a trend in the right way, right? And I want to see those kind of events create a trend in the right way. And I want to see the party grow into relevancy. And that's what's really important to me, is that we have a party that's representing our beliefs, that is politically winning, right? Like successful. And if we can't make the Libertarian Party be politically successful, then we should just end the 501(c)(3), right? Like get rid of the whole thing, break it up, and go join the other parties, dude. And that's what I wanted. That's what I always wanted from this party, was a political home that was successful. And so I think those things are great. I think we should do more of those things. I would personally, if I was the chair or anything like that, I would still be interested in not aligning us with Marxist Leninists who want me dead and want my family dead. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, those are good things, but they have to have some kind of a return on investment as well. I think that's an important thing to think about administratively if you're gonna go forward and do more things like that. I would hope that would be a somewhat of a focus, is getting some kind of goals met, having a goal sheet and saying these are the goals that we want from this event, and meeting those goals. So I don't know. Not to knock it. I think it was great. I think it's great that there's anti-war movement in the country again. We haven't had one in a long time, at least since probably Iraq too.
Yeah, people are calling for us to move on and change topics, and you kind of transitioned us into the next one that I want to talk about here. So let's. This is from your resignation episode as well, and I wanna talk about this bit.
But then you got the event. You got the fact that I'm way too fucking jaded to be useful at this point. Like seriously, I'm like Red Foreman from that '70s show, dude. I just want to call everyone a fucking jackass. You know what I mean? Like dumbass. Even at the meetings, it's like, dude, you fucking dumbass. Are you really going to drag this out for another 4 hours? Like I just am not. I'm jaded, dude. I'm jaded. Like I just can't do it anymore, bro.
So, as the presidential nominee for the Libertarian Party, how do you feel now?
Passive aggressive.
Are you still too jaded for this shit? It seems like you're not.
Yeah, far too jaded to be on an administrative board with people that are fucking with me. Yeah, still, no doubt. That's why I'm not at all trying to run for leadership of this party. The presidential election is not. If you nominate me as the nominee, I don't have to go set
of this party. That's how it's looked.
That's fine. You can see it that way, but the fact of the matter is that I don't have to go sit on a board and do administrative shit with people who hate my guts, dude. I get to go out and message, and I think that's the important thing to remember. That the presidential election is a 50-state media tour for the Libertarians. It's not at all about running the party. In fact, if the party doesn't want to work with me as the nominee, they don't have to. I have a great team already that's doing all the administrative stuff for me. So I don't have to worry about running my website. I don't have to worry about fundraising as much. I'm still going to make those calls and send those messages, but I don't have to worry about the treasurer stuff. All that stuff's getting done for me. I get to go and be the guy that's messaging. Right. And that's something that I hope that people, when we show up to,
which in
to
fairness,
DC,
I do think
remember.
you're better made for presidential candidate than vice chair, whose job is, which is what a lot of people argued was why, Eric would have been a better choice for vice chair, because vice chair is basically there to, just prop up the chair and make sure all the book work is done or what have you. And a lot of us said maybe Josh is more fit for a messaging position even at the time.
I have a running bet with a friend right now, and I need to talk to Eric about this, because I am almost 100% positive that Eric probably would have resigned eventually as well. I'd say
Can't
very
really prove that
confident.
either way.
I know I can't prove it, but I can ask him. Hey,
Yeah.
well, is there anything you see?
Would
that
you have
would've made
resigned by
you
now?
step down? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to know. I would like to know.
Have him on your show. You can do that. You're the press now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dave, do you got anything? It's been a bit for you
Like on that topic, or just like
on any
you know,
topic.
in general?
Any topic. We're getting close to the end here.
Dave's so mad.
No, I feel like
Just
see that.
I want to say
the
a bunch
anger
of
on his face, dude.
no. But honestly, dude, I have a note here. It actually says "say nice things" because I feel like I have been a bit of a dick.
That's Dave.
No,
So-
it's okay. It's okay.
No,
Hey,
no.
look, dude, this is a conversation. I talked about. I had a.
Dave's a
late
self-aware
night-
asshole. At least he's like, no.
I had a
say
late
nice
night
things.
conversation. I had a late night conversation with Dan the other night to talk about the campaign ad, and we kind of went over some of this stuff because I was like, I know you're gonna ask me these things, and I'm gonna try to think about how to navigate them and how much I want to say, and I was thinking about it at the time, and I was like, and I told him like, and I haven't even had this conversation with Dave yet, which it sucks because I've had this conversation in personally with so many people, and Dave is one of the people that I respect the most.
Well,
right?
you and I
Out of all
haven't
these
really had the
people that
in-depth
I've met.
conversation. I kept telling you, don't say it.
No.
Save it for the podcast. I tell Dave the same thing.
I know.
If you got something to
I
say,
know.
save it for the podcast. But go
I
ahead.
started to get in depth with you for a minute, and then you're like, "Save it for the podcast." I'm like, I can't say all this on the podcast, dude.
Sure, no, that's
So,
fine.
but that was I'm sorry, Dave. I'm just gonna apologize to you, dude. I'm sorry.
Oh, you
Like,
don't owe
because
me
you-
an apology. In fact,
No, I
wanna
do.
let you
I
know,
do.
bro. That
You-
if I was upset with you, like really upset or angry or something, like I would this guy, I would have definitely
we know.
reached out in private. Like I might have been disappointed, man, but like I understand that life happens. Like just you're my homie, dude. Like I can understand. I can understand that shit would suck. And after I haven't even run for any of the shit. You know, I was the county chair for, that's not even on the same level, but yo, man, getting called a Nazi for like a couple years hurts your feelings after a while. Like it does fucking suck. I'm like,
Yeah, it sucks,
you know what I'm
man.
saying? Like, and you got it to 100 degrees harder than I did. And I do appreciate you taking those slings and arrows, man. And I mean it. Like, you did a good job. And it's an interesting thing that I'm not sure that I'm ready to say that you've got my endorsement for president, but we are in a situation where even though I'm like, we might be a little bit like, at odds here with some issues, you probably are top tier candidate. And this is a serious fucking problem. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Like no offense, but there's the shit posters versus the regime.
Dave was trying to get
approved-
me to run. He's like, we got nothing else. Do it. Just do it. I'm like, dude, that sounds
Well, like
hell.
I understand why podcasters are getting in the game now. Like if Dave Smith was in the game now, or Spike was, I doubt Toad would have like registered to become.
I certainly
run for
would have
president.
ran I certainly would have not have announced if Dave had announced, a month ago or whatever. No way.
Right.
Right. So,
So-
this is fucking blowback, bro. This is the absolutely natural power vacuum. If the CLC is going, hey everybody, we've got 3 great candidates out here. Well, we've got a serious fucking problem. Serious problem.
Right. And well, let me tell
so
you this. I
understand-
love Toad's my friend, bro. I like Toad a lot. But we're running a serious campaign. I want everybody to understand that this is a serious campaign.
Toad's
with
coming on
a
soon for
serious
candidate
staff.
grilling too.
That's fine.
We're setting that up.
We have a serious staff. We have already fundraised. We have already started working on getting media. We are doing the correct things to transition easily into the general election. So I don't want anybody to think that me and Toad are running the same type of campaign. I love Toad. He's my friend. I've stayed on his couch. I stayed on his couch for 7 nights once. Okay.
If
but,
this were prison rules, bro, you guys would be in the same corner.
No. Well, yeah, sure. I guess. Yeah, I definitely have Toad's back, but no, this is for real. It's a real campaign that's legit. That's already working on inroads with people outside of the party. So we're, I know I have a lot to do inside the party with people to make inroads and fix some connections and talk about, why I did what I did and how I've said it on my show repeatedly that I apologize to everybody who supported me for vice chair. And everybody who went to bat for me. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry that I did it the way that I did. I'm sorry that I felt like I had to do it. I'm sorry that I didn't consult everybody first. You know, I'm not perfect, and I've made some mistakes, and there was definitely some mistakes made there. But I think that there's other mistakes that were made that we need to rectify. And so, you know, it's not. I don't want anybody to think that this is a jab at the Mises Caucus. This run, that's something that some people have asked me. Is this to fuck with the Mises Caucus? Absolutely not, dude. Absolutely not. In fact, I hope that my campaign
doesn't matter.
Right, but I hope that my campaign helps the caucus. I hope that my campaign brings people back to the table that are feeling a little jaded and a little disheartened by the current direction. I'm hoping to get those people back. I'm hoping that this is my last ditch effort, the last chance I have to try and help build this thing one more time. I am not in any type of headspace to be in national leadership for this party anymore. I'm just not. I am not. I'm not going to be a good administrative guy on a board with people that are going to say some of the things that I've heard about me. Just not going to work.
Yeah.
But this candidacy, this campaign can be something really good if we can bring that spirit back to life through a campaign, through a presidential election year. It's a good thing for the caucus, for the party. And if we don't have somebody better doing it, who's better? Who's better right now that's announced? Is it
Joe
Tremont?
Exotic.
Do you guys want
Joe Exotic?
Yeah.
I will vote
I
Democrat.
do love Joe. He's great, dude. He's great. Joe's great. Yeah. I'll never forget watching the documentary in 2020 during COVID and seeing like all the Libertarian Party people that I know on there, like Aaron Adams, and it was so weird. But anyways, no, dude, I'm serious. Who's better? Who's running that's better right now? That's my challenge to you.
I mean,
If
that's been
you can
our
find somebody
complaint.
better. If you can find somebody better, this is my challenge to you. If you don't like me and you don't want me to be the nominee, find someone better. Because no one better is running right now. Nobody. And it's not even, there's not even anybody talking about running that's better than me. Spike's not even talking about running.
No, I agree.
Dave's at home with his family, probably going, fuck this shit.
There is currently nobody better in the Libertarian Party who's running. There are people outside of the Libertarian Party, like RFK and Joe Exotic and Donald Trump, that some libertarians will inevitably, lean towards if there is not a really good libertarian candidate, which is the only reason why we're here, is to iron sharpen iron, make sure you are the candidate that you claim to be, and to help get you there, because we don't want to have a shitty candidate either.
Let me say this one more thing before we move on to whatever we're moving on to next. I spent the last 6 years practicing for this, dude. Okay. I spent the last 6 years, like Dave talks about, taking the arrows, right? Getting the arrows slung at me, being called every single name you can think of in the book. I have what it takes to go out there and take this shit from other people outside of our party. You know what I mean? Like, I've done this. I've already been there. I've already been attacked repeatedly over and over and over again. I've already had media and people that have big platforms say all kinds of weird shit about me. And I came through it on the other side stronger than I was before. And that's the truth. And so I have what it takes to do this, man. And I'm going to do it. And like I said, if the delegates show up to DC and nominate a Chase, right, or a Lars, or one of these guys that I know is not going to be good for us, I'm going to run this campaign all the way through November. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to run it as a write-in candidate. And I'm going to get more votes than the Libertarian Party candidate does. So keep that in mind. Because that's what
Jake Hornberger said too, though. So,
bro,
yeah,
that's you will not get. I love you, but you will not get more votes than option number 3.
Right.
You will not.
Okay. We'll see.
You will not beat third box.
And if you're starting from that,
because those are the most people that vote for Libertarian Party every 4 years are third box voters. That's
right.
No offense, man.
And that's just by default. We hate the others.
We're gonna fucking do it.
You know what they say, right? Like the manifest destiny stuff, right? I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
I'm gonna be headstrong about it, even if it doesn't happen.
I like your attitude.
Even if it doesn't happen.
I do fucking like that.
Now,
attitude.
Y'all, it does not benefit
this
me.
is the same. Listen, hold on. This is the same attitude I had going into Reno, Dave. You remember that? Remember all the people telling me you're not gonna win? Do you remember that? Do you remember the conversation we had? Do you remember the conversation that you and I and Mike Heiss had in Boston? Was it Boston?
Yeah.
Sitting in the chairs in the bar where everybody was like, you're not going to do it. You're not going to win. You remember that, right? You remember that, right?
I told, by the way, for the record,
attitude,
I told Mike the whole time that you would win, and he told me that you would not.
There's no way you're going to win.
said he told me I'm paying too much attention to Twitter, and I told him that I understand public opinion, and this is just where we're headed.
I'm going into DC with the same attitude, buddy. And I may win, I may not, but I'm telling you right now, if the party can't put someone better up, what do you got?
We agree with you. On that point, I just want to say that it doesn't benefit me at all to be grilling candidates and iron sharpening iron, because I don't make money off this podcast. I make money off of these motherfuckers paying me to make them look better, and I am happy to help make any of them look better. But I had Mike Tremont on, grilled the shit out of him, and felt like we would probably never have another conversation, and he's currently now talking about hiring me to work on his campaign, work on his videos and stuff like that, and working on your videos as well. Like, I don't know, like, I'm not playing politics, y'all. I'm here for the message. I'm here for, like, I'll work on the Joe Jorgensen campaign again if she lets me put my spin on it and put my message on it and all that stuff. So, like, I'm not a big fan of the Mike Tremont, certainly less than I am than of a Josh Smith candidacy, but I'm happy to work with anybody. But at the same time, I want to be real and authentic and transparent, because we all talk about how nobody's real and authentic and transparent and humble, but nobody actually does it. We just play the politics behind the scenes. I don't care. I'm probably losing money by having these conversations, but I hope that it, people at the very least take some comedic entertainment value out of us giving friends shit on the internet. But we do have a couple more fake super chats. If you guys had any thoughts on that, go for it. But let me see.
Yeah, I have a thought on that. I wanted to tell Josh that, Josh, I think it's really great that he's going to be making a commercial for you, and I don't resent that, but I do fucking resent him making one for Termite. Not feeling it.
Yeah.
We've got some...
I don't know what that says about me.
Me and Dave have some marital trouble.
Our relationship is on the rocks.
I will say this.
He doesn't love me pushing for Joe Exotic either.
I will say one of my
Joe
favorite
Exotic
videos
is
that
winning
I've
my
ever
heart
gotten.
over, by the way.
Nice.
He's really great. But one of my favorite videos that I've ever gotten actually came from Dave Casey. He made a video with me. So if you haven't seen that, it's like one of the very first videos on my YouTube channel. Yeah, it was the anti-war stuff. So what was that? What does that noise mean?
Yep.
That means Dave's cool. I could have done.
Yeah.
It's been too long, you guys. Now, fake super chat from Nimitz. Fake super chat. Would you consider Malice for press secretary, Josh?
I said on Twitter that I would, if I win the presidency, I will obligate Michael Malice to be the press secretary through the courts.
Authoritarian.
We'll use the court.
Okay, good. So authoritarianism.
and that's a knock. If you're not aware, that's a knock at Michael Malice, because someone in one of his super chats once asked what it would take to get him on Break the Cycle, and he said a court order. So
perfect. He's asking for it. Sean Patrick says, fake super chat. LPNH gets death threats every day. Are you gay?
Let me go ask my kids if I'm gay. I'll go ask them real quick. No, I'm not gay, dude. And it wasn't just the death threat that kept me from the anti-war rally, man. So yeah. I know you guys know me a little bit better than that. I've been, dude. When I used to roll down the waterfront on Portland, Oregon, they used to throw eggs at my car. Literally, they knew what my car was. I'm not afraid of death threats. I'm afraid of allying myself with communists.
Yeah.
So.
Right on. Fake super chat from Danielle. She says, I am excited to see when Smots gets a tiger. All right. Cool. So
me too.
Me too. Dave, or not Dave, Josh, how do you feel about Joe Exotic for president? Why do you think you're better? This is the real question here. It's not about why you're better than the other LP candidates. You're on my show. Why do you think you're better than Joe Exotic? And honestly, not even from a joking standpoint, as far as pushing a libertarian message, if Joe Exotic worked his way up in the Democratic platform, I honestly think, and I've said this on Twitter, and then Joe Exotic stole it from me, I honestly think there are, at least before you, it's still up for debate whether or not you have changed my mind on this, but before you, I said libertarians pushing for Joe Exotic would be better for the libertarian movement and message than it would be for them to push any of their candidates right now. Agree or disagree?
Let's see here. Oh, shoot. What did I do? Sorry. Hold on one second. I'm trying to move you over to the other screen. You think it would be better for the libertarian movement than the libertarians would be? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. I think him and the Democratic Party. So all the joke, all the backlash of the joke is on the Democratic Party for any backlash there would be. Like, he's not running as libertarian, but he's a libertarian at heart, and he's got a lot of libertarian messaging, and he's a celebrity and all this shit. He's the troll that the world needs right now. and the Democratic Party is one of the two big tickets. If we could get Joe Exotic to make a little traction, the Libertarians would benefit more than they would from pushing a
Yes.
Chase
yes.
Oliver.
Because, yes.
Any of those.
Well, here's the
folks.
thing. He would do better for us because he would make the Democratic Party even more of a joke than it already is.
While pushing
sure.
libertarian messaging. The same reason why I got involved in
some.
the Libertarian Party for Vermin Supreme. Yes.
Some libertarian messaging. If you look at some of Joe Exotic's stances, they're really horrible. Like his views on guns are really, really bad.
Are you kidding me?
Especially for a guy who's, he loves guns, but he also believes that there needs to be all kinds of regulations on them. So
yeah, we'll have to have a talk.
That's not for me. He's definitely not an abolish the ATF guy, I don't think. So, and I am.
Okay. But pro-gun guy that isn't abolish the ATF, like in the Democratic Party, if he had any traction, like same argument for RFK. Like if he's bad on some things or not perfectly libertarian, is that better for the Libertarian Party or the Libertarian movement, I guess, and message than a Libertarian candidate that is perfect on all those issues but doesn't gain any traction?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know. I think that he'll be the laughing stock. He'd be the laughing stock of the Democrats, first of all. A lot of people.
Win-win.
It might be worse. It might be worse for us in that he's going to be such a joke trying to pass off these libertarian principles in front of Democrats.
Donald Trump was president and Joe Biden is right now. You want to talk about jokes?
Yeah, but neither of them, listen, they're both populists, right? Just for different sides. And they both played on everybody's fears. When it was Donald Trump, he played on the illegal immigration fear. He played on the violent criminal fear. He played on the conspiracy Epstein style fear, which was great for a lot of us. You know what I mean? And Biden played on the transgenders are going to be genocided fear. He played on the gay marriage is going to get abolished fears. He played on a lot of that shit. So it's populism. They're playing a game called populism. Unfortunately, what that really does is it really gets involved with the people that are involved with politics, right? Like these people that are already engaged with politics are already scared of all these things that politicians are saying. And then it gets them involved. So, that's why the blue collar working class, the 61% that didn't vote for Trump or Hillary in 2020 or 2016, that's why they don't vote, because they don't play that populism game with the big parties, dude. And so I don't know that it would be better for the Libertarian Party. It would be funny to see for sure. And I think it would help the Democratic Party become more of a joke, but I don't know that it would specifically help libertarian talking points. No.
Making the Democratic Party becoming more of a joke is more beneficial than the Libertarian Party becoming less of a joke, I think. But whatever.
Maybe. Yeah.
It's really neither here nor there. I support both. But Dave, have you said that you're warming up a little bit to Joe Exotic?
Not him so much, but yeah, after we talked to Michael, his campaign manager, like it just became kind of evident. Press secretary, excuse me. Yeah. That makes more sense. But look, much in the same way that I would love to run Ross Ulbricht for Libertarian Party president, like we could make that like that'd be
great.
It'd be so awesome. Like and whoever was vice
Ulbricht
president
Exotic
could go
24.
around and like. But like my point being that I was kind of envisioning this outrageous asshole and a vanity project, but I'm like, no, like after me, like he's in prison, and this would be a great way for them to like call it, like he's been in solitary confinement. And Dan, you're right. I mean, like he's got some libertarian leanings. He's pretty goofy. Unfortunately, like he's like way below like Marianne Williamson. Like there's just no, I don't see the media like going to talk to. You absolutely. I think if you could convince me that like, yo, he'll like turn the Democratic Party into a laughingstock. It's like Mike Tremont telling me that he can get elected and that he'll change. He'll listen to my policy on Ukraine because it's really good. And once I get elected, it'll fucking work. It's like, well, you know what I mean? Like we won't get to that point. They won't interview Mike like we did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I think we need our own guy.
Any libertarian candidate telling you that they can win the general election is a snake oil salesman, period.
Thank you. Yes. And in fairness, I asked Mike specifically that when I was down in Florida. I think he said eventually, and I think he meant basically like eventually if I do well enough, libertarians will whatever, blah, blah, blah. It was kind of a politician-y answer. But
I do believe this, Dan.
Yes.
I do believe that we can get 5%. I believe that. I believe that in my heart that we can get 5%.
Jacob Hornberger says 7. So what do you got now?
Well, I think we could get I think that 5 is a very tall order for the Libertarian candidate, but I think that we can do 5. I think that is my goal, is to bring people back to the table with the candidacy, get into the general election, and get us 5% of the vote. That's what I would like to see happen.
Right on.
So.
I hope so. And to people in the chats, last call for fake super chats. I don't think we're going to do an after party today. I had one set up to do, but I don't think we're going to do it because we've gone on for very long and we all have lives. And why you guys have wives, but we all have lives and things to do outside of this. But get your fake super chats in and all that. My biggest issue all around in libertarians and candidates and all sorts of things, which I've been speaking on this summer, is just like humility and ego. Like the political sphere is so, in the libertarian sphere especially, is so obsessed with self and ego and propping up oneself. I just want to make sure that we're doing this for the right reasons. I want every single presidential candidate in the Libertarian Party to be benefiting outside of winning presidential nominations and whatnot. I want them to be benefiting from doing this, certainly. But I want to make sure that if you're running for public office and running for helping other people, that it's for the betterment of the people around you and not the betterment of yourself. Josh, I want to end on this. Where do you stand on like is this about ego? Is this about self? Is this about you more than it is about the libertarian message movement or the American people at large?
No, it's definitely not just about myself. And I know that people are going to say that. They said that with all my other runs. This is just about building up your own platform. Like, no, dude. This is about a one last stab at trying to fix the thing I sacrificed for so long, right? Like, I want to see it become this big, beautiful thing that becomes a driving force for libertarian ideals in the United States. And so, I think a me campaign does that, or at least helps that mission along. If I didn't, I wouldn't do it. Plain and simple. It's the same as me saying, if somebody better comes along, I'll drop and run for vice president. If somebody better comes along there, I'll drop and stay home with my kids. It's not about my ego, man. It's not. It's about my want and my need to see a successful movement in this country for libertarian and liberty-based ideals. And it's always been about that. It's been about that since day one. I mean, there's times I want to stick it to the haters, man. Trust me. I want the haters to eat their words, dude. But I think the best way to do that is by having a successful movement. And that's always been my goal. And it's always going to be my goal as long as I'm doing what I'm doing here. It's to make sure that we have a successful movement, man. And it's not where I want to see it yet. A Josh Smith presidential campaign is in hopes of trying to bring that back to where I wanted it to be. And so I'm going to do it.
Well, we are nothing but accountability partners here, sir. Certainly. A couple more fake super chats before we go. JC says, fake super chat, my controversial take is that I like Josh. Nice.
Elliot.
Good, I appreciate that.
Any thoughts on that, Josh?
That's very nice of JC. I appreciate him. He's been a fan of the show for a long time. He's always in my chats. I love the guy to death, man. So
Joey Tugun says, fake super chat, what the fuck does it matter if we get 5% or not? We need more young people coming into the party. GJ Gary Johnson got a decent percent, but that didn't translate into shit. I'm not sure.
I talked about this somewhere in the middle, where some of the people that are new to the movement or new to the party or new to the administrative side of this party don't understand that 5% in the general election for the Libertarians makes us a major party federally. It gets us into all upcoming debates for the following elections. It gets us the funds that all the big parties get for campaigning. It changes everything. 5% changes everything. No one in this party that's ever run for president has ever gotten 5%. The closest was Gary Johnson in a year where we should have got 12%. Okay. So the 5% mark is very, very important for a presidential candidate. If you don't think you can get 5%, please don't run. You have to have it in your heart that you're going to go out and do the work to get 5%, because 5% is important to this party. It's not just, we'll get more. Listen, we get 5% of the voters in 2024. We're going to get a lot of young people, dude. Like a lot of new young people for sure. That's guaranteed. But it does translate into shit. It translates into us becoming a federally recognized major party where we don't have to go out and spend millions of dollars every year to get ballot access in states. So it's important. It's very, very important. I hope that lets you know why it's important.
Yeah. Wait, really quick, while you're on that, I got to stop you, man, because honestly, while you're running for, or to get the nomination. I'm much more interested in your opinion on ballot access for libertarians than I am with your Ukraine policy. You know what I'm saying? So Larry Sharp, I know he's your friend, but I don't care. Larry Sharp wants to spend a $500,000 in New York to get to maintain, not maintain, to get back ballot access. And then he wants more money for lawyer fees so he can sue them for the 9th time and do these things. So I don't know, hashtag fool's errand. Stop spending millions of dollars on ballot access when you could just run a fucking based, brilliant candidate that could get you 5% nationally and would inspire people to do local things. Dave Smith, you motherfucker. Like if you could just, you know what I'm saying? It does take that national standard bearer, I think. We'd be fools. I know the local mission is the thing, but like you have to take advantage of like when normal people are into politics, which is every 4 years, right?
Yeah.
So,
listen, I've always said this. I've always said this too with the Think Local campaigns from the Mises Caucus. Very important, dude. God, it's probably the most important thing that we can do is work on local, county, and state level candidates, because that's where you're going to have the most success as a small third party. But the presidential election is very important to the national party, dude. There's no denying that. It's how we get ballot access in a ton of states without spending millions and millions of dollars. Because let me tell you, even when the party was considered somewhat successful, they were running on a $1.5 million shoestring budget, dude. Okay. I'm sure it's less than that right now. I'm sure it is quite a bit. And we don't have the funds to spend on all that ballot access shit. And so, like Dave's brought up earlier, that third box is really important. It sounds stupid, but it's really important because you got to check. You got to have that third box to really get the people interested, because there's so many people that don't pay attention to politics at all, but still vote like idiots, right? And so, yes, that's an important thing. That we run a presidential candidate, and that we have a presidential candidate that is actually striving to get that 5%. Because the first person to do it will be the savior of the libertarians, period. Plain and simple. That's the truth of the matter. It's going to be the biggest savior ever. We're no longer going to have to spend all this money fighting for ballot access with lawyers and shit in all these different states just to get on the ballot, dude. We're no longer going to have to do that. Some of the party funding is going to come from the federal government, which is stupid for libertarians, but fuck, dude, we're competing against financial juggernauts, dude. Like hundreds of millions of dollars every year invested into these campaigns, dude. And we don't have that. So being able to become a competitor means getting that 5% as a national candidate first. Boom. That's our first step. We need somebody that's going to be able to do it. I mean that 100%. So.
Right on. Well, we can finish with closing remarks of any kind. I don't really care what they are. Again, I will say we are not doing an after party. Thank you all for your money. I'm sorry, it's been a while since we've done some bonus content, but you got the bonus content still, because we still, instead of an hour there and an hour here, you got it all in one. So you still got it, and you're getting the ad-free versions. Support
send
if you
Dan
support.
Smart
Support if you support.
$5
Don't if
send
you
him
don't.
money.
Fuck you. Like, support if you do, don't if you don't. And I'll do
You
my
got
best to give you
Porkfest
guys extra
content
stuff.
trickled out.
That's
for
right.
Weeks,
And
man, send this man $5.
I will tell you, I'm glad you mentioned that. I was up till 3 a.m. this morning working on the Porkfest shit, and I'm not getting paid for that. So if you want to support that stuff and maybe get it early, I don't know. We'll work out some new arrangements between y'all and I. But this has been a lot of great content and a great conversation. Dave, I want to give you first chance for final thoughts, and then I'll go, and then we'll let Josh wrap up.
Yeah,
And
I thought
give your plugs at the same time.
Sure, appreciate that, man, and always love being
And actually,
here.
in these final thoughts, if you guys want to continue conversations, if Josh has a rebuttal, feel free. It's my show. Fuck you.
So I thought, I just wanted to say, I think that since we grilled Josh today, that was the goal, but I want to say that I don't think that the Mises Caucus is free of criticism. I think that we should have had a Dave Smith backup plan, whether that's Dave doesn't run or if he doesn't decide to run till 2024, because I keep hearing that it's early. Oh, it's early. Don't worry about it. It's like, man, for political animals and
Not
for,
early.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and
it might be early compared to what we've done.
all
in the
the
past.
Republicans. And exactly. So you need to think, I would say, if we're taking notes for the next time we go around, to at least have what I would call a place saver. Have somebody that's ready to go as soon as the first Prague announces, so that when Vosh is doing podcasts, he doesn't call Mike Tremont first because he's the only guy. Because that guy, as far as the regular people are concerned, who just see libertarians like, once or twice a year, that guy's representing libertarians. It says libertarian presidential candidate Mike Tremont. So there should be somebody from our wing out there, because we know what it's about. We got the secret. It's about messaging. It's not about running for fucking president. So go out there and message. Like we're missing I think we're missing valuable time. And last, I just wanted to ask Josh, who do you think who do you think Top Lobster is behind, you or Toad?
Oh shit!
I think I gotta say that Top's got my back in the long run. But he may go with Toad because he hates the Libertarian Party so much. He may go with Toad. I don't know.
Yeah, that's valid.
He's not the candidate we need, but the candidate we deserve.
Yeah. I stay out of all the stuff with Top mostly because he's such a good friend to me, dude. Like really, like one of the coolest dudes I've ever met. But I know a lot of people. He hates a lot of people, and a lot of people hate him. And that's your beef. That's not my beef. Top and me have always been very cool. He's a good friend. I love the guy to death. I would hope that he would support me. But I will say that when I announced, he said, somebody tagged him and said, "Are you going to be doing his art for him?" And I was like, no, don't hit him up. He's a very busy man for art. I'd rather just have a friendship than have him doing my art on this campaign. And he said, "We'll see how things go." That's what he said. So who knows where he's at right now, but Top's my buddy. And, and a lot of the people that hate him are my buddies, and a lot of people he hates are my buddies. And it's just kind of one of those things, man. Enjoy it. That's who Top is. That's how he's going to be. Love the guy to death, man. Period. Always going to have Top's back no matter what. So.
Word.
Right on. And Dave, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me. I got Dave versus Goliath back. I'm on X for you guys who are using that test. First time I said that out loud, it felt really stupid. But yeah, I'm on that platform that Elon Musk. Yeah, that he had the reset over there at X. So I'm over there, and follow me on YouTube too. Got to get the rookie numbers up. That would help.
Yeah. And as I've mentioned many times in this episode, I have nothing against Josh personally. And I applaud Josh mostly for doing the thing that a bunch of y'all idiots were pushing me to do, to step in and be the, hey, we've got nothing else. And then Toad stepped up, and it was like, well, then I guess I don't have to run as the joke candidate. Now we've got Josh here as the joke candidate. Just kidding. I love you. But yeah, we needed something else. I know that we needed something else. I'm only here to make sure that Josh is that something else if he's stepping in to be that something else. And I'm happy to work on his campaign and help him be the best that he can be. And I applaud him certainly for coming here because, Josh, you knew I wasn't going to hold back.
It was gonna be hard.
You knew no matter how much money you threw me this morning, I was still going to be really autistic about it. So
I was more worried about Dave, buddy.
I love you, dude. It was a great talk. I appreciate it very much.
I appreciate you, doing it. I did. Chase Oliver at PorkFest, he mentioned in a conversation, which I have nothing against Chase. He mentioned, "Hey, you should have me on your show sometime." And I said, "Yeah, I do this candidate grilling thing." And after I explained it to him, he got real quiet. So we'll see where things go. I don't know, but I've got nothing.
Bring that motherfucker on this show next week, bro. Let's talk about penile inversion vaginoplasty.
Oh shit!
Tomorrow.
I'll call in. I'll call in.
Toad first. But yeah. I mean, anybody willing to step in the ring and put their livelihoods and their families on the line, I certainly support anybody. Like, even if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, not you, but anybody who's doing it for the wrong reasons, like, that is a big pressure to put yourself under. So I especially applaud you coming back in and being the at least non-pragmatic candidate in the ring, because that's really all I'm looking for. I'm looking for zero pragmatism at this point. But you can find me at TSIDPod on Twitter or thesystemsdown.tv or wherever the Systems Downs are sold. Josh, I'll let you take us out of here. Any final thoughts, all the plugs, anything you want to say? Wrap it up, man.
Sure. Look, hold on. Sorry. That's the wife calling. She knows it's been 2 hours.
It's over, guys.
Well, she started a babysitting business, and she's got some walkthroughs coming over tomorrow.
Holy,
so she needs me
wait,
to do some
hold up. Your wife, who has 25
Having kids is not
started,
count as a baby business. Bro.
started a babysitting business. She should be getting paid for the amount of kids that she's babysitting currently.
It's really great thing to be able to make money and stay home with our boys, dude. Trust me, it's really good for us. So, anyways, here's the thing, man. We've said a lot on this podcast, and I want those people who have supported me in the past and stuck with me in the past and had conversations with me and know me personally, know my character. You know that I'm not going to come on here and throw out a bunch of lies, dude. That's never been who I was. I've always been as transparent as I could possibly be with my friends, especially, but also my supporters, and that means with my personal life even, you know what I mean? Shit I didn't have to talk about that I have talked about. I want everyone to know that this, you know, as salty as I am about the way that things have gone down, right? Like my heart's still in this. Like I still want it to be done right. I still want it to happen. I still want it to be successful. It was like my baby, man. You know what I mean? Like I put so much on hold for so long to try and see this through that you have to, if you've known me or followed me since the beginning, you have to know that it was a hard ass decision for me to leave, dude. You have to know that. You can't have known me that long and not know that I sat there in turmoil over this resigning. You can't. There's no way. But I also want you to understand that I'm not running for chair. I'm not running for vice chair. I'm not running to be an at-large again or any of that shit, right? Like I'm running to be the messenger for our ideals. That's what the presidential campaign is. I know I can do that. I know I've been good at that in the past. I know I'm good at being the face of things. And so, you know, you don't have to worry about me doing administrative stuff. You don't have to worry about me working with people that don't like me. Like this is me going out, taking the arrows again, messaging our platform, messaging my platform, trying to move the Overton window and getting as many voters in line as possibly as I can. So I want you to separate those two things. I know it's going to be hard for some people. I know it is. And there's going to be people that just will not support me ever again. That's okay. You feel burned. I'm sorry that I burned you. You know what I mean? I really mean that. I'm sorry that I burned you. I'm sorry that you feel like I, was out for myself or whatever it was that you think I was doing, whatever motive you think has been prescribed to me. I'm sorry that that's how things went down, but just know that it still means the world to me to see you guys still fighting. I still want to be there. I still want to try and help out where I can. I talked to Ryan and AJ off the air about what I can do locally and stuff like that too, even though I'm salty about the national party. But this is like my one last shot to try and bring the vision that I saw when I started this, man. And so that's what I'm doing. And if you want to check me out, you can always check out the website. It's joshuasmith2024.com. That's where you can do one of three things or all three things. You can become a volunteer for the campaign there. Of course, we are still working on some paid positions as well. So if you get in there, we find out that you're good enough for certain things, then you can get a paid position. And also you can sign up for the email list there. The email list is where you'll get all of the campaign updates. It'll tell you what we need, this and that, and this and that. We will not bombard your inbox every single day with emails, maybe once a week or bi-weekly. And you can also donate to the campaign there, which is very important for us right now, getting started, trying to buy all the campaign materials. We already have business cards. We already have yard signs, stuff like that. But we want to be able to get a whole bunch of those things for people around the country so that when we do get into the general election after May of next year, we're already set and ready to go against the financial juggernauts of the Republicans and Democrats. So Dave and Dan, I really appreciate you guys, man. Seriously, I love you both very much.
Same.
And I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely.
Love you too, buddy.
Anytime, and thank you so much for being here. And to all of you out there, thank you for being here, whether it's now or in the future. Go out and decide for yourselves, amongst yourselves, talk amongst yourselves, talk in our chats, whatever. Josh, thank you for being here, man. I wish you nothing but the best of luck, and I don't want to do it, so thank you for doing it. And everybody, question everything, stay uncomfortable, we'll talk to you next time. Peace out. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe on your way out and help us change the world one uncomfortable conversation at a time. And if you like what you hear and you want to hear more, go join the Downers Club at patreon.com/thesystemsdown for bonus episodes of the show every single week. Until next time, please continue to question everything, stay uncomfortable, and I'll talk to you then. Thanks.